certified professionals. In addition to our great benefits that include a 401k match, PTO, and top pay with annual bonuses, we'll also provide you with top-of-the-line tools, trucks, and equipment that you need to grow your career. Our customer base is large and our business is booming with many opportunities for advancement. Give us a call or go online to JarrettCompaniesInc.com and apply today to become a member of our family and protect our community. That's JARRETT CompaniesInc.com. Jarrett Companies, where we are above and beyond industry standards.
When you want to rock.
Let's go, don't wait. This night's almost over. Do all the monsters come out at night? Why do we sleep when we want to?
We are Nashville's rock station. 102.9 The Buzz.
Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Ross Chastain will be first to finish in the Ally 500 at Nashville Super Speedway.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR. 102.5 and 106.3.
Checkered flag is in the air.
Man, this is a win in the cup race.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun.
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
And welcome into the Wednesday edition of Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode, Nick Keyser here with you on this Wednesday morning. Hope everybody is off to a wonderful start to their day today. Joe Rexrode, how we doing? What's going on?
Doing fine. Not much going on here. Not much great going on with the Preds.
Nope.
I can tell you that.
Yep, not very good right now. They've lost 4 in a row, 6 of 7. It's not going to get it done at the end of the day. Nick Keyser, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. Just need some coffee later, and then I'll be all right.
Was Keyser dressed up nice for
Keyser looked good last
Preds?
night. Yeah.
Dress for success,
He
Joe.
looked good.
There you go. Hey man, here's my whole thing. Have you heard my spiel, Keyser?
I have not.
Okay, let me give you my spiel about dressing for. All I ask for is consistency. Okay, so for example, my buddy Jason Wolf used to cover the Titans here for the Tennessean. I worked with him. So Jason Wolf would show up at Titans games in a full suit.
Yeah.
Okay. And then sometimes he would come out. I remember one time he came out and helped cover Vanderbilt baseball, and he's in shorts and like a polo. And I'm like, wait, whoa. Why does the NFL team get a suit from you?
Yeah.
So as long as you're dressing for success and all you're doing, that's fine. I just don't understand, and this is more an NFL thing. It's really Gentry Estes is who I have a beef with now because he dresses up for the Titans and nothing else. And I'm like, why? Why do the Titans get dress-up day?
Yeah.
Why? But,
little peer pressure?
Like TD, he only covers the Titans, and that's all I see. He dresses.
I feel like TD would dress up going in the mailbox.
Well, you're probably right, but I wouldn't know anyway. Either way, he's consistent. That's great.
Yeah.
So just be consistent. That's
Okay,
all I ask.
I will. Hey, but, Tehran's he's on television, too.
Yeah,
So-
he's a TV star.
Oh, yeah, like when he does ESPN.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think anybody who has a TV-related job, it's more
Right.
like you would more expect it. Wolf did not have that. Gentry
No.
does not have that.
But
Now,
I genuinely
there is post-game
enjoy
video, I suppose.
I genuinely enjoy wearing something nice
Well, that's good.
to cover something as well. But yes.
That's good.
I thought you were saying I genuinely wearing something nice to cover up something. Like, what are you trying to say? Cover up my body?
Well,
with
in
nice
Paul's
clothes?
case, who's coming up at 8 o'clock, cover up everything.
We'll have to make now we're talking, Keyser.
Boy.
Attaboy.
I really
Way to go.
I hope he was awake for that.
We got a lot to get to on the program today. Caroline Fenton will join us at 7 o'clock, usually every Tuesday morning. But she's a superstar now and does some SEC radio stuff. So she'll join us coming up at 7 o'clock today. We'll get into some Titans and some college football with her. Paul Kuharsky, speaking of, will be here from 8 to 9 today in studio. We got a lot to get to with PK. So looking forward to that coming up from 8 to 9. Lots of high-quality Titans talk today here on Robby and Rexrode. We begin with the Nashville Predators. They lose 3-2 last night to Anaheim. as I said, Joe, that's 4 losses in a row. They are 1-6 in their last 7 games, dating back to the road trip that they went on. And in 3 of their last 4 games, they've had multi-goal leads that they have blown and that they've lost. So in Calgary, on the road trip, they were up 2-0. Now, granted, they're kind of getting their butts kicked in that period and happened to score 2 goals and were getting outshot 17-6, but they were up 2-0. They're up 2-1 heading into the third, and they lost. Saturday against Arizona, they had a 2-0 lead. They had a 4-2 lead, and they lost that one 7-5. And then last night, 2-0 again for the Predators. They give up a late goal in the second to make it 2-1, and 2 goals by Anaheim in the third period, and they lose 3-2. So they're in a bad way right now. They've lost 4 in a row. They're 5-10 overall, and protecting the lead not going very well for the Predators at this moment.
Yeah, and that's just I mean, the thing is, it's like I'm trying to think of recent years comparing this. I don't even feel like, and of course I'm exaggerating, but like how many times did they have multi-goal leads, Yeah. It wasn't that bad. But you just like.
Have they ever led a game?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. They didn't even lead, did they? Did they win a game? But it's just weird to see them blowing multi-goal leads.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Is this part of the – I mean, is it part of the way they want to play? Does that make it more likely that you're going to do that? Is that fair to say?
I think that's fair to consider for sure. I mean, they're trying to go north-south a whole lot more and with a quick transition game. And Andrew Brunette, you could tell, is pretty frustrated by what he's seen in terms of like moments in the game. So Will from Bellevue on the text line is talking about, Brunette last night. He talked about lack of focus and understanding key moments in the game. And what he's talking about there is, when you score a goal, so the Preds go up 2-0 in the second, and then like the next shift, they are turning the puck over, and eventually Anaheim scores, and you're just handing them momentum in the game. When there's 5 minutes left in a period, sometimes the best play is taking the puck and dumping it into the corner over there, making the line change, and living to fight another day. This is like understanding where you're at in a game and making the right play. He feels like they are not close to doing that right now. So Brunette was frustrated last night. Like you could tell after the game that this is eating at it. I think one of the quotes he had was, you think you couldn't feel any worse after Saturday, and here we are. You feel worse today. I mean, he's pretty frustrated by some of the stuff that he's seeing going on right now. Cam Fowler for Anaheim makes it 2-1 late in the second last night, and that's another thing. Saturday in the second period, I think Arizona scored with like a minute left in the second period. Late goal again in the second period to get momentum going the other way last night by Anaheim. Like those last, minute and a half of periods are really crucial. And last night, Fowler scores. It's kind of the puck's down to the other end, and the Predators' mismanagement, and then they don't cover properly coming back. And Sherwood, Evangelista, I think Glass were on the ice at that time. And whatever Brunette saw, I guess he didn't like, because that was pretty much it for Sherwood and Evangelista. I think Sherwood got 1 shift in the third, and Evangelista got 2. So not very happy from Andrew Brunette last night.
So you're starting to see consequences.
Yeah.
You're starting to see him levy some punishments here to try to get better play.
Yeah.
It's the first year for a new coach, and so we always think in terms of, we're trying to figure out the new coach, who, by the way, is number 3 on the hot seat, according to Vegas, because Vegas knows.
Yes.
But you're also, if you're Andrew Brunette, you're also, even though you've been through training camp and everything, and you've tried to get to know the guys, you're still learning this team too. And so, I mean, look, Andrew Brunette had one, a terrible situation in Florida. He did a great job with it. He had a hell of a team that he was coaching. And then even like with New Jersey last year, which I think he got a lot of credit for some of the stuff they improved, but that's a nice young roster. So this is kind of new territory for him, obviously.
For sure. And he downplayed this last night, which I understand. I disagree with him. I asked him about Saros after the game and like the concern level there. And he's like, basically there were some breakdowns and lack of coverage, which there were. I mean, they certainly did not play things well in some of these instances that they made. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and play that clip that we've got from Andrew Brunette. Here's what Andrew Brunette had to say on the UC Saros front last night. Is there a concern with Saros? I mean, we know how good of a goaltender he is, but it just kind of feels like every mistake right now is ending up in the back of you guys' net.
Yeah, no concern. I think it was self-inflicted on our part. Pretty much every goal was lack of coverage, mistakes on our end. I thought besides that, we're pretty airtight. But right now, when there's a mistake, we're not helping Juice out. We're blocked. We're screening them. Doing some uncharacteristic things, and it's hard on the goalie.
So I agree with what he's saying. Like they're not helping him out, and some of the mistakes that they're making are tough mistakes to overcome. Now, having said that, I've seen UC Saros play a lot of hockey, and I've seen him bail this team out time and time again, and he's not doing it right now. Like he's got 3.23 goals against, an .892 save percentage, and I mean, last night, what did Anaheim end up with last night? 19 shots? I think he had 19 shots on goal, and they scored 3. I mean, he's not playing at the level that we're used to seeing from him right now. And we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but if he's not playing at an elite level, this team has no chance. Like they're not good enough to overcome that.
Yeah. That means
mute one.
He's made me mute. I'm going to blame UC on that. You want to blame UC for everything? Thanks a lot, UC. I just muted. This is something I'd love to know is like how many times in the history of the NHL or hockey that's been covered has anyone said, the goalie, man, the goalie's just struggling.
Happens every now and then, not very often.
I mean, did anybody even say anything bad about Jack Campbell at Edmonton before they just dispatched him to Siberia? You know what I mean?
So.
Like it's just like no, Jack, it's just bad coverage.
Yeah.
It's not on Jack at all. So no one's gonna acknowledge that. But it's not fair, but it's true. And the thing is, we are spoiled. Like, the city of Nashville is spoiled by UC Saros and what he's done.
Yeah.
And so if he's not any kind of soft goals and you're just like, you can't do that. I mean, you should be allowed to have that every once in a while,
Well, again, long-term, I'm not concerned about him, but right now he's in a rough patch.
Yeah,
There's no doubt.
This record is reflective of plenty of shortcomings, but also of right now he's not wearing the cape.
Right. And I mean, the question is also like, how much do you let him play his way out of this? And like, could he benefit from sitting down at some point, right? Like, he's played a lot so far this year, which is not abnormal. I mean, he plays a lot all the time, but I do wonder, they've got 3 days off here before they play on Saturday against Chicago. So he's probably going to be in there on Saturday too. I mean, I doubt very seriously they go 3 days off and then keep him on the bench and then wait until next Monday before he plays again. But like next week, you've got a Monday game, a Wednesday game, a Friday game, and a Sunday game. Would it be the craziest idea to give Kevin Lincoln 2 of those? I don't think so.
He certainly will get one, and I would agree with you. But then when Saros has a shutout in his next game, then it seems like okay, all right, he gets all the games.
He plays all of them.
Lincoln has 2 starts, right?
Yeah, he's got 2 starts. So, it's a combination of things right now that is plaguing the Predators. And this is, I think, the frustrating part, because people say these things sometimes and fans roll their eyes, and I get it. I think for 95% of the game last night, played pretty well. I think Saturday, about 85% of the game, they played pretty well. But whatever those lapses have been lately, they're killing them. And they're every team goes through lapses. Can you go through your lapses and keep the puck out of your net? Is kind of how you get through some of those. And right now, it just feels like every mistake that they make is ending up in the back of their net. And that's why they're 5-10. And I mean, right now, you look at the standings, and look, we knew the playoffs were going to be a wild card team was probably the absolute ceiling for this Predators team. Right now, they're dead last in the Central. You look at the Western Conference, only Edmonton and San Jose are worse, and Edmonton seems like they're starting to figure some things out.
I mean, they're gonna
So the
win some games.
Yeah, and so right now, by the numbers, the Predators are the 3rd worst team in the NHL. So I don't know that that's exactly where people expected them to be this year.
And as you kind of mentioned yesterday, but not necessarily the year that's like beneficial to be that bad.
Right. Like if you finish that high, you're going to find a good player at the top of the draft, but there's no Connor Bedard walking through the door this year.
Yeah.
So I did have a couple of tweets last night of, well, why couldn't they have done this last year?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, you know.
A year too late, Preds.
I don't know. 615-737-1025. Our phone number, 615-737-1025. We'll take your thoughts on the Preds. Rexrode thinks I'm being super hard on one Preds player as well. We'll get into that coming up next. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
The Titans are 3-6 after losing to the Bucks.
I'm worried this is stunting the growth of the big picture here.
Can they rebound against Jacksonville?
You're not winning if the offensive line continues to play the way they have been playing.
Keep it locked to Nashville's best Titans talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Some people put off things that need doing. Not you. Harbor Freight knows you're a today's the day kind of person. An I'm on it kind of person. A bring it kind of person. So, if you're rolling up your sleeves today and you don't want to overpay for tools, you're a Harbor Freight kind of person. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal. And it's happening this weekend. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one, where the staff knows they can break all the rules. Plus, Genesis selection is nearly double. Designers are here from LA and New York with their entire collections on sale. Luxury pre-owned Rolexes are also marked down. All lab-grown diamonds are also included. The last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Save up to 35%. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only, and only at Genesis Diamonds. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
In 1972, a Nashville family business story began when Bill and Beverly Finley founded Volunteer Hose and Gasket. 3 generations have grown the business into the local industry leader supplying just about anything to anybody, from the largest of contractors to your neighbor that mows his own yard. Over 1 million items in stock: belts, belting accessories, gaskets, gauges, hose fittings, hydraulics, industrial hoses, lubricants, sealing products, tubing, fire protection, and more. All at volunteerhose.net. If Volunteer Hose and Gasket doesn't have it, then you probably don't need it. Call them at 615-242-0461.
Vanderbilt Commodore fans, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, along with 94.9 The Fan, is your new home for broadcast of games and the Commodore Hour on Monday evenings. Catch all the action for football, men's and women's basketball, and baseball all season long. Go Doors!
Oh my,
OAR.
that was a crazy game of poker. I see you in the back.
Live in concert.
I lost it all.
Summer Tour 24.
I want you, I want me, I want
September 1st at Ryman Auditorium. With special guests, Right, and DJ Logic. Tickets on sale Friday, 12 noon at Ryman.com. Don't miss OAR Live.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency. On low Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face. When it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Hi, what brings you to the clinic today?
Oh, the baby's not feeling well. I think she might have a fever.
Well, let's check her temp with the Exergen thermometer. You're right. These Exergen thermometers are very accurate. Reads 101.2.
Oh, gosh. Well, that Exergen thermometer sure is fast and easy to use.
Yes, and many doctors recommend Exergen for home use.
Exergen thermometers, backed by over 100 clinical studies, are available at Walmart and participating retailers. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Not near a radio? Download the Game Nashville app, and you can listen to Robby and Rexrode wherever you go. Now that is cool.
This is Robby and Rexrode on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Tune in to 94.9 The Fan tonight for Vanderbilt women's basketball. The Commodores be at home against Western Kentucky. Tip-off at 6:30. Pregame beginning at 6 o'clock. Coverage also available on the 94.9 The Fan app and at 949thefan.com. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, live from our 102.5 The Game studio, brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Preds fall again last night. They are 5-10-0 to begin the season, and they've lost 4 games in a row, 6 of their last 7. Next in action on Saturday when Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks come to town. So that'll be interesting. I'm sure the crowd will be great. And Saturday afternoon matinee matchup at Bridgestone. So looking forward to that. But Preds fans' first look at Bedard coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, and what do you think? So, a season like this, what do you think, more Chicago presence in the building?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
He is lit a fire under that fan base. I mean, I understand why, but they were,
well, they deserve it. They've only won a few cups.
Yeah. They totally abandoned going to games and supporting the team when no one else is there. But apparently, when it's Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, or Connor Bedard, they're all in, baby.
Totally fair.
All in.
Like, at least they're also Bears fans for the most part. So
that is true.
You can take heart in that.
That is true. So Philip Tomasino, a healthy scratch again last night for the Predators. And that was met, at least from what I saw yesterday online, Joe, with a lot of angst from Predators fans. Philip Tomasino has not had a good start to his year, and he's been a healthy scratch now multiple times. And that sent some of the fan base into a tizzy yesterday. Look, I'm watching this reaction, and look, I have nothing against Philip Tomasino. We've talked about him a lot on the show. I think he's got a chance to be a good player. I still think he's got a chance to be a good player for the Predators. It's not been a very good start to the season for him. And I do agree with those who say, the last two games that he's played have been a little better. So I was a little bit surprised that he was the one coming out yesterday. However, like I don't think it's out of left field that he's a healthy scratch. Like, he's just not played well enough this year. But apparently a lot of the fan base very upset yesterday that Philip Tomasino was a healthy scratch. Michael McCarron comes in, and you have all those things. And the Eeli Tolvanen situation came up a lot yesterday, talking about the Tomasino situation right now. I don't know that those two are necessarily comparable yet. And here's the other thing. Like, not to go down an Eeli Tolvanen rabbit hole again, this is turning into like the Music City Miracle when you could see the TV copy, Joe, and there's like a lot of people leaving the stadium. And now, like, you hear people talk, and apparently 200,000 people were in attendance for the Music City Miracle, just like everybody was there, apparently. The Eeli Tolvanen thing, like, it feels like as more time goes on, Predators fans think they lost Connor McDavid. Like, it's like, he's a good player. Eeli Tolvanen's done a good job. I think he scored 16 goals last year for Seattle. I think he's got 3 so far this year, so he's done a nice job of carving out a good role for himself. They've used him properly on the power play, which I think is a very fair criticism of his time here in Nashville. I mean, the guy's a third-line player, and we're acting like they've lost an elite forward in the league. I don't, for the life of me, understand it.
Yeah. Well, it's
the way they lost him was bad. No, don't get me wrong. Like, you lost him for nothing, so I get it.
Yeah.
But like this idea that because Eeli Tolvanen's situation was handled the way it was, by the way, by a regime that's no longer here.
Well, that's the key.
That this situation now applies to all of them moving forward here with Philip Tomasino.
Well, that's the whole key. I mean, if it wasn't a new regime, then, and I don't think it would necessarily be any different, but it would be. I mean, what would the reaction be then? I mean, you got to pump the brakes. To me, if you're a Preds fan in trying to compare this to that, because it's totally different people making a decision. I mean, if you've watched Thomas, and I think the same thing of Tolvanen, yeah, that's a fair point. I mean the one thing with Tolvanen was, like, to me, like, if he's going to play, he should be in the power play. I mean, like his shot is good. Basically,
he should be on the power play, and there's a certain he should be on a spot in the power play where you can use his one-timer, which is his best weapon, and they didn't do that here.
And I mean, that's the thing. When he actually had his surge, I mean, he was in the left circle.
Yep.
I mean, right? So, but okay, so fine. But everything else was underwhelming, and it's he's fine, but he's not close to what they hoped he was going to be. And
he's still not, by the way.
Right?
Like, he's not.
And I'm like, if you've watched Tomasino, I mean, at some point it's like you either show it or what's there. I mean, I think he's a pretty talented player, but at this point, underwhelming, I think, is a very fair word to use for what he's been.
He should be further along than where he's at. I don't think that that's a big controversial statement. Now, I hear Well, play him on something other than the fourth line and maybe give him a look to do that. And I hear that to a certain degree, and to a certain extent I agree with that. Now, it is also possible for you to elevate other players when you're out there, right? Like, Philip Forsberg, if he plays on the fourth line, my guess is he probably elevates the fourth line a little bit. You know how I know that? Because he does play on the fourth line when they double shift him, and he elevates the fourth line, and he generates chances. Not to compare Tomasino to Forsberg, because that's not fair, and they're in different spots in their career. I'm just saying, like, just because he's not been given a spot in the lineup yet in the top six doesn't mean that he can't go out there and play better than he has.
Yeah, you can go out there and play. Yes, opportunities matter for sure. Who you play with matters for sure. But I mean, it's not like Tomasino has had zero of such. He hasn't been stuck on the fourth line his entire time when he's been up here.
No, I mean
he's been moved around.
This year, he started with Novak and Evangelista, and he's been on the power play. Like, I get it. He's not playing 19 minutes a game, so he's not getting that look. But I think we're being a little bit dramatic with how they're handling Tomasino. Now, I would expect probably on Saturday he's back in there, and he'll have another chance to continue to improve. I do think, like I said, the last two times he's been in there, it's been a little better. So that's good. I mean, you want to see him get a little better, have a little bit more, fight in his game, do something when you don't have the puck. That's where it is right now with him, and you could tell there's frustration there. Number one, I think he's been knocked off the puck a little too easy this year, and when he hasn't had it, it's not been great defensively and some other areas of the game. So I'm not. It's not time to panic yet. Like, we're very early in the season, and he's been a healthy scratch to this point more often than I would expect heading into the year. I'm not. I still think there's an opportunity here for him to get used to the system. A system, by the way, which I think should benefit him if he's using his strengths to his advantage. And I still think there's a chance he ends up being a really good player for the Predators. But the outrage yesterday was a little confusing me. He's not been good so far this year.
Yeah, it's just, he's obviously a guy who has come with high expectations, has been talked about for years. Last year bothered people, and we on a weekly basis we're asking David Poyle if, when Phil was coming back from Milwaukee.
Yep.
So there's a history with it, and then there's the Tolvanen thing. But, yeah, some of this is like, I'm not saying across the board, you should trust, whatever your coach, GM decide. But, I mean, they do have way more information than any of us do, Yeah. Like, they have a limited team. Anyone who can help them offensively, I think that they want to lean in on that. So that should probably tell you a little something about where this is. Some of this is on him. Most of this is on him.
Will in the text line says, the new style's not working. Are we just not talented enough? How do you elevate players' play? And the answer is yes. I mean, this is going to be a process to get the right players in here. And some of that, I think, is already in-house. Some of that is down the road with some of the people they've already drafted. And some of that is people that we just have no idea about right now. That are coming in future drafts, that are maybe going to be free agents coming up. I mean, it's going to be a work in progress to piece this roster together. And I like the style that Andrew Burnett wants to play. I'm not sure at the moment that they're fast enough to play it as effectively as he wants to play it, but that's just going to have to be something that you build in time with the roster.
Mike from Nashville says, at what point do you blame the organization for the inability to develop young players? Well, there have been some success stories, but also it's a different – I mean, they have a lot of the same people in scouting and things like that.
It's a different
assistant GM.
Coaching staff.
But it's a different coaching staff, different GM.
Yeah.
So you're going to just have to – it's a new start.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to wait a while.
Let's quickly go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in Mike in Gallatin. Mike, good morning. Thanks for calling in.
Morning, guys. So I got a quick comment, and I'm not trying to be insensitive, but I don't understand the rules. So in the third period, we have a power play, and we just laser a shot off the dude's head.
Yeah.
I mean, it just absolutely just grazed him. What's the rule? I mean, I'm not trying to be like, I don't want to be, again, try to not be insensitive, but I feel like that stoppage totally killed any momentum that we had from that power play. Because I feel like last night our power play was actually looking pretty good for what it's worth. And I just feel like that the immediate stoppage for the goalie just kind of kills it. So I didn't know exactly what was going on because it looked like the goalie just kind of had a dent in his mask, maybe. But again, maybe there was a better explanation of it somewhere else.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Mike. Just real quickly on that, Forsberg lasered one. It kind of got deflected in front. It hit Gibson, Anaheim's goaltender, in the mask, and it kind of bent his mask back a little bit. I think it also broke a strap off the back of it. So anytime a goalie's helmet gets knocked off and the mask gets broken, the referees are instructed to blow the play dead. So it's just kind of unfortunate there, but that's what they're instructed to do.
So I guess Mike just wants people to just die out there, huh? Jeez, thanks a lot, Mike. Just kidding.
615-737-1025, our phone number. Coming up next, it's time for The Choice is Yours. We'll take your participation, as always, on our text line. Joe Rexrode in the questions chair. We'll do that next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5-106.3 The Game.
Raider football lives on 93.3 Classic Hits.
Hey, it's Big Joe. Chip Walters and I will have the call this Saturday as MTSU wraps up their home schedule against UTEP. Our coverage begins at 12:30.
Your home for the Blue Raiders is 93.3 Classic Hits.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Regular season hoops are heating up. The NBA's inaugural in-season tournament is tipping with group play across the country. Catch the action Tuesdays and Fridays all month long at the #1 sports bar.
When you own a business, it's like another member of your family. Its success takes time. It requires money, attention, and tools to help it grow. At F&M Bank, we'll treat your business like family, building trust and responding quickly when you need us. No matter your business goals, you can reach them easier when you have a banking relationship that supports you, tools to conveniently manage your money coming in and going out, and expertise to make your business better. Bank your business at F&M Bank. myfmbank.com. Banking made easy on purpose. Member FDIC.
Experience the thrill of gaming glory at Harrah's Casino and Hotel, just a little over 2 hours northwest of Nashville off I-24. Call 1-800-HARRAHS and reserve your room today to indulge in top-tier casino gaming, appetizing dining experiences, and their cutting-edge sports book. As a Caesar Rewards destination, every moment you spend at Harrah's Metropolis earns you points across the entire Caesars empire. It's your time to win with Harrah's Metropolis. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-BETS-OFF.
Score all the action this football season with great deals from Vivid Seats. From college games to NFL, there's nothing like seeing every block, blitz, and big play of your favorite team live. Vivid Seats celebrates fandom with unbeatable rewards like free tickets, surprise seat upgrades, and annual birthday deals. With Vivid Seats Rewards, you earn rewards with every purchase. From first down to final whistle, Vivid Seats has a great selection for all the 2023 games that matter to you. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. Not only is it open enrollment for a lot of people, it's also a time you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, switching to MediShare saves about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. But what's more, they like it. MediShare has double the member satisfaction rate compared to health insurance. Double. MediShare is a proven thing, too. For over 30 years, it's a Christian community of more than 400,000 members. And here's the thing, too. If you join before November 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, you'll get another $150 savings. So I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline's November 15th. So call now and you'll save even more. Here's the number, 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE.
Keeping it local.
But do you trust? No, I don't trust him at all. But no, you're right.
And fun.
Can I ask you a question? You just did, but yeah.
Every day.
Catch you on the flippity flip.
It's Chase McCabe.
No, like it can be displayed.
And Big Joe Dubin.
And they call me Joel Dooley.
The Chase and Big Joe Show. Brought to you by Regal Realty Group. Weekdays at 9 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is Greg McElroy, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
All that.
We all have choices to make.
Or that.
Like right now. It's The Choice Is Yours, built by Jared Companies. You have a choice, so when you have a need for site and utility work, fire protection, concrete and asphalt services, the choice is simple. It's Jared Companies. For more, visit jaredcompaniesinc.com. The choice is yours, now on Robby and Rexrode.
It is that time of the week, time for The Choice Is Yours on Robby and Rexrode, presented by Jared Companies, above and beyond industry standards. The only company your company needs for site work, fire protection, paving, and concrete needs. If you need an estimate, call 615-515-1270 or visit jaredcompaniesinc.com. That's JARRETT Companiesinc.com. Joe Rexrode, you are in the questions chair. I turn things over to you.
Sports or non-sports?
Let's go sports.
We'll go sports. All right. The next team in the state of Tennessee that will win a major championship, and first of all, before we get to that, the last team to win a major championship would be, it'd be the Lady Vols winning the national championship, right?
I just wanted to make sure we were including college.
Well, no. I mean, no, that's not true. It's
Vanderbilt
baseball in 2019. Yeah. So the next team in the state of Tennessee that will win a major championship. So
I thought you were going to say
that's a college sports that are followed, which to me would be football, both basketballs and baseball, and then any pro sports.
I think I'm going to go Tennessee baseball. I'll go Tennessee baseball. I think it's close between Tennessee baseball, Vanderbilt baseball, and Tennessee men's basketball. Right now, other than that, I don't know how many are that close. When you first started that question, I thought you were going to ask, like, who's the next team that's going to win a game, because right now that's a struggle. But I'll go Tennessee baseball, too. Tony Vitello and company. They get it done first to win a championship.
All right. Nick?
I'll go back over at the Knoxville, and I'll say the men's basketball team. I think they are something special. That was 3 straight games in a row that they've scored 80 points. And that's impressive. I know that they're 4-0. It's the start of a season. I get it. What matters is what they do in March, because they've struggled there consistently for years. But I feel like that this is the point in time where this is a program that can get the job done. I can confidently say they are probably the closest to winning anything big like that.
There you go.
Took my answer, darn you.
Wow.
I thought I was going to be blowing everybody away.
Well, Joe, it can be your answer too.
Well, it is my answer. They're going to win it all this year.
Oh, boy.
There you go.
We calling the shot?
The shot is called.
So really, they're not going to win because we're calling it.
Probably. I mean, you can. When they don't win it, you can look back at this if you want. But no, I'm. You can't be all that confident in a sport, in that sport, that tournament.
Crazy stuff happens.
Purdue easily could have won it all last year. They freaking lost their first game to like the Lilliputians. I don't even remember who they played.
I don't either.
So you shouldn't be confident really in anybody because of the nature of that tournament. But they've got the goods. They've got the goods to do it this year. I'm telling you right now.
A lot of talk about a national championship for this team the last 2 days on this program. I like it.
Yes, I know. It's probably too much. All right, non-sports. All right, so since I'm not doing the Thanksgiving, whoever has Thanksgiving next week, I still want to do some Thanksgiving questions. So Here's one that might make you feel uncomfortable. Which trait of yours are you most thankful for?
Oh, boy. You go ahead.
Sexiness. No, that's not my answer.
Probably not.
That's
quick.
Thank you. No, for me, it would be that I have a long fuse. Now, the problem is when you finally get to the end of it, then that's a watch out, But like there
are people listening right now that hear you and Jared have discussions with each other and say you have a.
Spoke with Jared, everything was fine. Oh yeah, that's a dumb take, but I forgive you. Cool, no problem. So it really is a long fuse. It is absolutely lit. It's at the end every time I talk to him.
Yes.
But that's a fair point you bring up there, though.
Yeah.
Come on, give me your traits that you're
Nick, go
thankful
ahead.
for.
What do you love most about yourself?
I would say
you gotta love yourself.
I do.
Good.
I do. I would say I'm a hospitable person.
You are.
I have been someone that I think could welcome you into your home, and I could easily make
Into
you
your
something
own home
for lunch or dinner. I love having
You're
people
welcome
over.
to go to your own house. Get the hell out of here.
I am, but I like.
Here's your door. It's unlocked.
I like hosting things. So I think it's always a pleasure to speak with people and just get the hang out with those and fellowship. So yeah,
hospitable. I like it.
I will say I can make friends with anyone, so that would probably be my most valuable trait that I like about myself: the ability to make friends with anybody.
Nice, including Jared.
Including Jared.
Right, so there you go.
I had a 45-minute conversation with Jared last night.
Oh yeah,
I did.
About
everything you could possibly think of.
Wow. Okay. Nice.
There you go.
All right, back to sports. The next major coaching change in the state of Tennessee will be which team? And by the way, before you answer, I go to the Athletic homepage today, and what do I see on the Athletic homepage? Main story, Randy Mueller, why the Patriots should trade for Titans head coach Mike Vrabel this offseason. So here we go. It's time. People are banging the drum on that. But anyway, go ahead.
I'm going to go Jerry Stackhouse. I think at the end of this year, they're not going to make the tournament, and I think that's going to be it. I think it should be it. Now we'll see whether or not that happens. But like, there's at some point you got to make the tournament and produce results, or it's time to move on. And I don't think they're going to make it this year. So I will go Stackhouse. I'm not totally bought in on the Vrabel thing yet, so I'll go Stackhouse the first one.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to the Burrow and say Rick Stockstill. I think.
And we're talking firing, or we're talking retiring?
That's a good question. I would say maybe retire. I think he'll probably but I think he'll finish his contract with them, and I would be really surprised if they decided to fire him because he's been there for a long time. I could see it happening, but I think he would go out throughout the rest of his tenure and then maybe just retire.
Okay. To your point on Stackhouse, so last night Vanderbilt beats UNC Greensboro, has a huge lead. They come back, they stick it out. They're still missing those three guys.
Yep.
That's a game like UNC Greensboro. They win 20 games like every year. Like if they played like they played last night against Presbyterian, they beat them by 25. But I think that's a valid one. But my answer is Rick Barnes. Because he's going to get a national championship, and he's going to say, "Good night, everybody," and drop the mic.
Walk off into the sunset. Could be.
This has all just been a vehicle.
See, I thought you were going to go Vrabel. I was really relying on you to go Vrabel.
Well, and that's the thing. That would be, if that were to happen, that would come first. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't either.
I don't. And I'm not saying I don't think it's going to happen from the Pred side.
It's definitely not going to happen from the Pred side.
That'd be interesting. From the Patriots side, I think that's possible. But I really don't think that Amy Adams-Strunk will trade him. So, Rick Barnes,
there you go.
The mic.
I like it.
Okay, back to being thankful. Which idiotic 80s movie, or for you guys, whatever, it could be 90s, or I guess for 2010s, comedy are you most thankful for? That just sort of, like it just, you watch it and you can always just put it on.
Caddyshack.
Oh, now you're going back.
Yeah, Caddyshack is the one for me. It's hilarious, and it's really like I actually watched it like a month ago. It's really not that funny, but it's just kind of so stupid that it is funny that it tickles my funny bone. Caddyshack is the answer.
That's a classic, man.
It is.
That's a classic.
Hey, Gilmore, you suck.
There we go. That's a good one, too.
I love that movie. That is a go-to for me. I love it.
That's a
Happy Gilmore.
Now, all the Adam Sandler ones are strong. Well, not all of them, but like the early ones, like Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, Wedding Singer.
Yeah.
Those are all very strong. It's hard because I like so many, but I'm using this as an opportunity to say that the entire world should see the movie This Is Spinal Tap.
What is that?
Yeah, see, and there's way too many, and I'm not even mad at you for saying that. There's just way too many people who say that. So This Is Spinal Tap was the first, Rob Reiner made it in the 80s. And
who is that?
Rob Reiner's made a lot of successful movies. He was on All in the Family. He's Meathead and All in the Family. God, oh boy, just boomering out right now. But okay, so This Is Spinal Tap was a basically the first, documentary, like, all the rockumentaries that were actually made. So this was like a movie about a heavy metal band, and I could sit here for hours, okay? Just please watch the movie. It's so freaking good. And I know on the text line I'll get some support on this.
Yeah.
But it was basically, it launched a lot of Saturday Night Live careers. Dana Carvey was in there. A lot of people are in there. I'm very sad that more people don't know about this. I'm going to use The Choice Is Yours as often as I can to get people to watch This Is Spinal Tap. I swear you will not be sorry when you watch this movie.
Have we reached the point this year where I should probably go watch Office Space at some point?
Yes. Office Space, yes, for sure. Have you seen This Is Spinal Tap? You haven't seen
I haven't seen that either.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, yeah. Like Tony says, mockumentary. Yes, it's the first mockumentary. Yeah, man. Yeah, Office Space. I mean, come on.
I got to get in there.
I know. But, I mean, how's Michelle doing on her movies down there?
Well, she only made it 10 minutes into Office Space, so I can guarantee you I'll go quicker than that. I'll go longer than that.
That is absurd. Great call, Ben in Cumberland City. Friday that's
beautiful.
It's not 80s, but yes.
It counts.
Yes.
This has been The Choice Is Yours, presented by Jarrett Companies, above and beyond industry standards. The only company your company needs for site work, fire protection, paving, and concrete needs. If you need an estimate, call 615-515-1270 or visit JarrettCompaniesInc.com. Coming up next, a move made in the NFL yesterday that was very, very interesting, and perhaps some moves still to come. We'll get into all that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Are you always on the go? We've got you covered. Download the Game Nashville app from your app store and listen to us wherever you are.
Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode. It's Chase McKay.
Caroline, Willie, D-Mays.
Dominic Company.
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
Good station. I listen to it all the time.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Attention all fire protection, commercial plumbing, and HVAC experts. Jarrett Companies are looking for experienced field technicians like you. Tired of working for your large corporate employer? Work for a company where you're more than just a number. Jarrett's fire protection, commercial plumbing, and HVAC divisions are owned and operated by Nashville natives who want you to grow with their amazing team.
Hi, I'm Jason Jarrett, owner of Jarrett Companies. I'm looking to hire experienced experts and will offer a sign-on bonus of up to $5,000 for certified professionals. In addition to our great benefits that include a 401k match, PTO, and top pay with annual bonuses, we'll also provide you with top-of-the-line tools, trucks, and equipment that you need to grow your career. Our customer base is large and our business is booming with many opportunities for advancement. Give us a call or go online to JarrettCompaniesInc.com and apply today to become a member of our family and protect our community. That's JARRETT CompaniesInc.com. Jarrett Companies, where we are above and beyond industry standards.
Hello, baby.
Sammy Hagar presents
the best of all worlds. I'm bringing some of my best friends along. Michael Anthony, Jason Bonham, and Joe Satriani.
August 28th, Bridgestone Arena, with special guest Loverboy. One night, every era, and a whole lot of Van Halen. Tickets on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. at LiveNation.com.
Dell's Black Friday event is their biggest sale of the year. Shop limited time deals on laptops like the stylish, innovative XPS 13, engineered to do it all on the Intel Evo platform. Plus, save big on ultra-sharp monitors and top brand accessories. It's the perfect time to upgrade any home, business, or gaming setup powered by Intel Core processors. Shop now at Dell.com/deals to take advantage of huge savings and free shipping. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
Bundling and saving with Geico is an easy choice, so you're free to ponder life's big questions, like what's the best animal in the world if not humans? I'd strongly consider ducks to be somewhere up there on the list. Think about it. Ducks can swim, ducks can fly, and ducks can walk on land. They have access to all terrains. They are the ultimate animal. And they wiggle their butts when they walk, which is funny. Yeah, ducks are awesome. End of story. Bundling and saving with Geico. It's an easy choice.
If you're just tuning in, this is Fan 23, Fansville's #1 sports radio station.
Brought to you by Tasty Dr. Pepper.
We are settling the great debate, best third quarter snack, hot dogs or nachos?
You know my mantra, Doug.
Yes.
Meaty early, cheesy late.
Well, it looks like we have a caller here to weigh in. Is this Chuck?
Popcorn in the third is the move.
What?
You go with passive snacking after halftime.
Nope, it's nachos.
Look, as long as there's an ice cold Dr. Pepper there to wash it down, I'm good with either. Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
Discover, this is Daniela.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to thank you for making me feel so special. I earned cash back on debit for my dinner party groceries.
That's great, but with Discover Cashback Debit, we give everyone cash back on everyday purchases. Anything else I can help you with?
Do you like asparagus and mushroom sorbet? I've got leftovers.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cash back. It pays to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashback debit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
Hey, it's Pete Weber. Saturday, the Predators have a midday matchup against the Chicago Blackhawks. Join Max Hers, Jay Moore, and me starting at noon. Your home for Smashville is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
We want to hear from you. Call or text us at 615-737-1025. Our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
This is Robby and Rexrode on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Make your silly underdog picks today for your chance to win weekly prizes. You can play at thegamenashville.com or the 102.5 The Game app as we approach Week 12 of college football, Week 11 of the NFL. Silly underdog picks presented by Volunteer Hose and Gasket. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode. We'll have Caroline Fenton coming up at 7 o'clock. We'll get into some college football and some Titans talk with her, so looking forward to that. Joe, a move made yesterday in the NFL. We talked about the Buffalo game on Monday Night Football. Buffalo loses to Denver. Denver improves to 4-5. Buffalo now at 5-5 with a significant chance, based on where they are in the standings right now and the schedule they got coming up, to miss out on the playoffs this year, which would be incredibly disappointing from the Buffalo Bills. Ken Dorsey, their offensive coordinator, fired yesterday. So we've talked about the Josh Allen part of this with the turnovers that he continues to roll out there on a weekly basis. His numbers since Brian Daboll left, and Ken Dorsey paying the price for it yesterday in Buffalo, and he is now out as Bills OC.
Yep, someone has to
Turns
pay.
on you quick.
Quarterback can't take care of the ball, turn it over left and right. Somebody's got to pay. Now, granted, even last year there was definitely talk about, my goodness, they missed Daboll, and I'm sure that there's something to that with Josh Allen's performance, but also sometimes it's like, just why did you throw that pass? I think that's kind of been a thing with Josh Allen. So Dorsey gets the pink slip, and there's your guy in New York. I'm getting my people, who cover the Jets coming at me asking me about Todd Downing. So,
it's a good spot to be in.
So it's possible there's rumblings in New York that your guy Nathaniel may be out of another job here.
It's not happening. There's no way they do that
with Aaron.
With Aaron coming back.
But could they demote or switch things around without firing him?
Maybe. I mean, I guess that could be an option. I'm here to tell you, if they fired him with Aaron Rodgers playing one drive, Rodgers would lose his mind over that.
I think it's basically, do they need to look at someone else as a play caller?
Maybe. I mean,
guess who's there?
And Todd Downing is there. I mean, Hackett did not call plays in Green Bay when he was the offensive coordinator with Rodgers there too. That was LaFleur. So there is experience of him being the offensive coordinator and not actually being the one calling the plays with Rodgers, so that could work. But
so less responsibility. Let's not have him be a head coach or let him be a play calling OC. Just sort of be
part of the game planning, though.
Yeah,
be in the meeting.
Be a guy that Aaron Rodgers likes in the
much.
building. And then everybody's happy.
Can you imagine just a beautiful picture to be when Rodgers is back? Apparently his goal is like mid-December to be back. And then you've got Todd Downing out there calling plays for Aaron Rodgers. That could be a beautiful experience for everybody involved.
Well, the thing is, if you Todd Downing, you want to look good as a play caller, that's probably a good way.
Yeah.
To have Aaron Rodgers be your quarterback.
Probably so.
Now, of course, the offensive line there is Similar issue to what Todd Downing had here. Bad offensive line. The wild thing is, the Titans were, with Todd Downing, they were 6th in the league and they were 9th in the league, both mid 60% in the red zone. Very good, very good. With overall not a good offense, especially last year, but they're excellent in the red zone. They have gone down to 32% this year, which is 31st in the league.
Yep.
The only team worse, the New York Jets, who are in the 20s, which is absolutely atrocious. So maybe Todd Downing comes in and fixes the red zone issues, and he's the toast of New York.
I still wonder, if Rodgers is actually going to come back, just from this standpoint. I have no doubt that he wants to, and the videos that are out there, apparently he's making incredible progress, so whatever. The Jets play the Bills, the Dolphins, the Falcons, the Texans, and then the Dolphins again. That's their next 5 games. They're 4-5 right now. I mean, if they're sitting there, well, let's say Rodgers is able to make it back by December 17th, which is it's the second time they'll play the Dolphins. So that would mean they'd have 4 more games since before then. So that's the Bills, the Dolphins, the Falcons, and the Texans. Well, they could very well lose 3 of those. I mean, if you're sitting there at 5-8, you bringing Rodgers back in there, coming off a torn Achilles with 4 months to heal at that point when you're 5-8.
Yeah, that's I think 6 and 7. Yes, I think 6 and 7. You still,
I agree.
You can make it. You can win 4 in a row, and you do. But yeah, that's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
I mean, you will not be mathematically out of it, but it all comes. Even if you have a good record, look at the rest of the conference. Your defense is fantastic, no doubt about it. But if there's even a hint of risk of bringing him back this year, where you would diminish, potentially re-injure or diminish what he could be next year, then you don't do it. I mean, and I'm sure Aaron Rodgers wouldn't want to do that either, But man, look, I get it though. I mean, if you can just pick it up, the problem is you still have the same offensive line.
Yeah,
the offensive line that got him hurt 5 seconds into the season.
Yeah.
Maybe just be better to kind of try to fix that. A lot of people want to fix their offensive line this offseason, by the way.
Yeah.
We talk about the Titans wanting to fix their offensive line. There's a lot more teams in the league that want to fix their offensive line this offseason than don't.
Which is another example of how free agency, for the most part, with your offensive line, is typically not the answer, especially at left tackle. You could add at other positions and strengthen your offensive line that way, but when your biggest glaring need is left tackle, like the Titans is, very rarely does that get solved in free agency.
Right.
So
whoever's out there is going to be someone with at least one, if not multiple, questions and flaws.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could have somebody, be up against it cap wise and decide to move on from someone. I mean, it's basically what happened with Orlando Brown and why he ends up in Cincinnati, but that's a very rare thing. Usually left tackle is not the position you're sacrificing when it comes to the salary cap. So, yeah. A long way of saying
we're all the way back to the Titans.
Titans are drafting a left tackle, baby.
Yeah, exactly. So this real quick, this Randy Mueller, former GM.
Yep.
So he has this long thing he writes about Vrabel and how it would make sense. He has one interesting point here, which is there's a real energy when you have a coach and GM who come in together with a rebuild. Whereas if there's ever someone left behind and one of those is new, the term he uses is you don't want to step on someone's toes. It's an interesting point. You have the John Robinson firing, so you bring in a new GM, so then you kind of reshuffle things. Vrabel's role is a little bit different, all that stuff. Whereas if it's both people coming in at the same time, then there's a little different energy. But John Robinson brought in Mike Vrabel too.
Yep.
So. Well, it's often one and not both.
It's going to be interesting to see how that part of it plays out. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Caroline Fenton. We'll get her thoughts on the Titans as they prepare for Jacksonville this week. Also get into some college football as well with her. All that next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
All the big plays.
Henry, hit in, touchdown. Touchdown, Tennessee!
All the big stories.
I fully expected DeAndre Hopkins wanting a one-year deal.
All in one place. We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
Touchdown, Tennessee!
You're going to make a trade like this.
Does he want to retire a Tennessee Titan?
The door's on the board.
Such superstar players. The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
When the festive bells ring and everyone gathers round, make sure your home's ready for it. From flickering lights to chilly nights to busted pipes, Lee Company is here to help. Heating, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, or any fix-up you need, we've got the experts ready. Head over to LeeCompany.com. That's LeeCompany.com. Remember, Lee Company, all you need, so you can enjoy the holidays worry-free.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, Earth, Wind, and Fire, and Chicago reunite together again. The Heart and Soul Tour 2024. Earth, Wind, and Fire, and Chicago. Live at Bridgestone Arena, August 20th. Nashville, this is going to be a night to remember. Get tickets this Friday at 10 a.m. at LiveNation.com.
Now, your Game Center update.
Brought to you by Gary Force Acura, your proud sponsor of the Nashville Predators. The Preds fell 3-2 to the Anaheim Ducks last night. Nashville is now 1-6 in their last 7 games and 0-2 to start their 5-game homestand. What did head coach Andrew Burnett have to say after the loss and what he saw?
Well, I think some mental gas, not understanding where we are at the game, and certain times, last 5 minutes of the second period, kind of the wrong side of things. We're kind of lost our responsibilities. And right now, everything goes in back of the net.
And the Vanderbilt men's basketball team defeated UNC Greensboro last night 74-70. Ezra Mannion led the way with 24 points while picking up 6 rebounds and 4 assists in the win. And over in the NBA, Tyrese Halliburton had 33 points, 15 assists, and no turnovers on Sunday. He's the first player with 25 points, 15 assists, and no turnovers in consecutive games since turnovers were first tracked in 1977. You're listening to 102.5 and 106.3, The Game.
Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Broadcasting on Alexa.
I appreciate that.
And other smart speakers. 102.5 and 106.3.
And a score!
You can run different offenses.
The door's on the board.
Off the field, on the field.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Hour number 2, Robbie and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Nick Keyser here with you on this Wednesday morning. Talking a little Titans, a little college football, a little all over the place. It's what we do. And to help us do that, we welcome in our friend Caroline Fenton to the program. Usually every Tuesday morning at 7 o'clock and Audible this week. Caroline, good morning. How are you?
Yes, thank you. Appreciate your flexibility.
Of course.
Missed you yesterday morning.
We missed you as well.
To be on this morning.
We missed you as well,
We did.
Absolutely. Got a lot
Did
to
you
get
talk
to
about
with
that
you. We
all
actually
7
did talk
o'clock
about that.
hour?
I think we spent like at least an hour. Yeah.
It's really nice of you guys.
Sobbing quietly. As I
Trying to do a radio
just wanted to
show
confirm.
and crying at the same time is tough to do.
It is.
It's tough.
It was
but
an emo
have
show.
no fear. Have no fear. I am back.
Caroline, the college football playoff rankings out last night. Georgia moves to number 1. I don't really have a problem with that. A lot of Ohio State fans do. What did you make of the college football playoff rankings last night?
Weird. I wonder why Ohio State fans had a problem with that. Strange. That's what should have happened. Because Ohio State initially was ranked number 1 because of their strength of wins, because of the resume. But the win over Penn State, I don't think looks that much better. Doesn't look great. Win over Notre Dame also. It's a good win, of course, and it was on the road at Notre Dame, but It doesn't look like, oh my gosh, Ohio State has the best win in the country against Notre Dame. I look at what Georgia did to a team that the committee loves in Ole Miss, and it absolutely annihilated them and made them look ridiculous. And what they did against Missouri 2 weeks ago after Missouri just pummeled Tennessee, again, another team that the committee likes. I don't really know what more Georgia needed to do to get that number one spot. So I think it was the right move. And I think it was the right move to just flip-flop Ohio State and Georgia. I heard a lot of talk about potentially Ohio State moving down to 3 and kind of giving Michigan a little bit of love for beating Penn State, but I didn't think Ohio State, beating Michigan State, sorry, Joe, by 35 points was enough to drop Ohio State 2 places. I thought the committee got it right. I did.
Yeah, thanks. It's fine. Did Michigan State still have a football program? They're so bad. Like, they can't even have the best scandal in the state of Michigan. They at least had the best scandal going, and then Michigan kicked their butt in that too.
Quickly replaced.
Yeah.
We don't talk enough about how Michigan State is actively also going through a scandal. The state of Michigan. I mean, we're just trying to out-scandal each other. At least Michigan can still be good at football.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, at least they actually have a team to go with their scandal. And now thoughts and prayers to them for Jim Harbaugh having to watch the game at Outback Steakhouse.
A lot of crying going on.
Oh, my. Yeah, what'd you think of that? What'd you think of that? America's team, Caroline. Michigan Wolverines, America's team.
So, you know what? I do think that's funny because I would say before all of this happened, I feel like I could call Michigan America's team, at least when they played Ohio State, because I feel like the college football world just had Ohio State fatigue. Like, Ohio State was the villains and Michigan was like the blue collar, aw shucks kind of team that could take down Ohio State, the big bad Ohio State. Now it's like America's team. Are you kidding? How could America's team be the team that's cheating on everybody?
Are people going to root for Ohio State again? Like, this is like a nation full of Ohio State supporters coming up at the end of the year?
No, I think everybody just hates both of them.
I think so.
Now Penn State is America's team.
Oh, boy.
Rutgers.
Tough for America.
Yes, it is.
Rutgers, there you go.
Yeah.
Carolina, Tennessee obviously gets annihilated by Missouri. They got Georgia coming in on Saturday, so that is not an encouraging proposition. It is at home. It is at Neyland, so we've seen them play much better at home to this point. But your disappointment level from what we saw from Tennessee on Saturday, and what do you think of this matchup against Georgia as they prepared to host them at Neyland Stadium coming up this weekend?
The good thing is Tennessee is a completely different team at home. Like, it is 2 completely different teams when they're at home and when they're on the road. I'm really disappointed in what we saw from Tennessee. And I would say in every single phase at Missouri, I thought it at least was going to be a close game. I did like Missouri to win that football game, but not by 30 freaking points. I mean, Tennessee's been able to stop the run all year long. Cody Schrader runs for 200. And Brady Cook has himself, a solid day. I wouldn't necessarily look at the box score and say what Brady Cook did, just, stomped all over Tennessee. But Tennessee couldn't get the run going, had no answer for stopping Missouri. So I thought Missouri had the perfect game plan going into that game, and it shows. Doesn't make you feel encouraged about Georgia coming into Neyland, especially the way that Georgia has looked the past few weeks. Georgia, I felt like early on in the season, they looked like a team with flaws. They looked like a team with holes. But now Georgia's getting healthier. I think they're finding their footing. I think that Carson Beck is playing the best football now that he's been playing all year long. And I think Georgia's depth is on full display. I mean, they were down a couple of defensive starters, a couple of true freshmen, 5-stars plug in, and oh, wow, there's no drop off. Georgia is just a plug-and-play machine. Georgia right now, as potentially beatable as they may have looked when they were trailing South Carolina at halftime and came down to a last-minute touchdown to beat Auburn, it's not looking like that. It's not looking like anyone's going to come even, at least in the SEC, going to come even close to Georgia's wheelhouse. I think if I'm Tennessee, you go into it, you just hope everybody else has fun, and then hope that maybe you see Nico against Vanderbilt.
There you go. So job openings starting to happen in the SEC and elsewhere.
Yeah.
But obviously Texas A&M, moving on from Jimbo, where should Texas A&M look, Caroline? Who do you like for that job?
Mike Elko is one name that comes to mind that just makes sense. He knows the school. He knows the program. He can recruit in the state of Texas. He knows how competitive it is to recruit in that, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana area. But I do think that right now, the sexy thing to do is hiring the young offensive guru. A lot of people have mentioned Jamie Chadwell as a potential name. I think that that's too big of a jump to go from Liberty to Texas A&M. Your expectation is to win a national championship. Like, this isn't just, hey, come in, maybe we go 9-3 in an incredibly difficult and competitive SEC. No. It is, you come here and you compete with the Alabamas and the LSUs. And, oh, yeah, by the way, it's that much more difficult with Texas coming into the SEC. And the expectation is that you beat Texas. I think it needs to be a bigger name, because Texas A&M has the money to throw at a bigger name. This isn't like we just bought out Jimbo for $76 million, so we're going to have to pinch a few pennies. No, it's how much more money can we filter in to the next head coach. I've heard Lincoln Riley thrown around. I've heard Mike Norvell thrown around, Dan Lanning thrown around. Yeah, right. I don't think that's going to happen. I think those coaches are settled, and they've gone through the growing pains and the periods of losing, but they've gotten their recruits in. They have the buy-in from their respective organizations. I don't think that they necessarily want to leave, but I think Mike Elko might be the slam dunk hire here, as long as they're not looking for one of those offensive guru, young, hip, cool head coaches. I think Mike Elko is a great fit.
No Dion, huh? No Dion?
Dion, I don't know how great of a fit Dion would be, and also how much has Dion proven? You prove that you can bring Colorado back from the dead, but the expectations at Colorado and Texas A&M are very different. The level of competition with Colorado and with Texas A&M in the 2024 SEC is incredibly different. Is he ready to take that on? Dion at Mississippi State, however, I think could be an interesting fit. Not as high of expectations. You go 8-4, 9-3. I think those are great years at Mississippi State. Dion has that kind of chip on your shoulder mentality that I think the people in Starkville also have, of the, we know we're not the flashiest team in the state of Mississippi, but we, nobody's going to respect us, accept us, and we're okay with that. I think Dion to Mississippi State is a more realistic fit.
Caroline, last thing for you here. We know how bad the Titans' offensive line is, and they put that on full display again on Sunday against Tampa Bay. Your concern level from Will Levis's standpoint, not really. I don't know that I buy into the ruining him or whatever, but just the amount of hits that he is taking right now. You get hit 13 times on Sunday against Tampa. I think he's been hit double digits every game he's played to this point. Your concern level that is pretty close to catching up with him, and we could be looking at Ryan Tannehill back at quarterback if that doesn't change.
My concern level is through the roof. You got 8 games left on the schedule, and it doesn't look like the offensive line is getting any better. Doesn't look like the schedule's getting any easier. So if you're taking the same kind of batters and bruising that Will Levis has been taking against Pittsburgh, against Tampa Bay, look, those are 2 solid defensive fronts. They've got solid pass rushers that want to get after the quarterback, but so does every other team on the Titans schedule. If he's getting hit 13 times a game, knock on wood, I don't like Will Levis's odds of making it out of this season upright. And it worries me for his development. If he does get if he does get injured, and then he's out for 2 to 3 weeks, well, what does that do to his development? Mentally, what does that do to him? Does he get a little bit gun shy? Does he, start to maybe look at, maybe go into a game thinking, man, oh man, am I just going to get hit today? Which you can't have that kind of mentality in the National Football League. I don't think he will have that kind of mentality. but it does make me worry of what does that do? Obviously, physically, we can see it on the field, but what does that do to a young quarterback mentally? But let's be real. I mean, he went through that at Kentucky last year.
He did.
He had an awful offensive line at Kentucky last year. He was getting sacked like 4 or 5 times a game. So this isn't new to Will Levis, but also it's not like this is a habit that I want Will Levis to get into. This isn't something that I want Will Levis to get used to, is constantly being under pressure. So yeah, I'm worried.
Well, Caroline, great stuff as always. Appreciate so much you taking time to be with us this morning, and we'll be listening at 11 o'clock.
Appreciate y'all. Have a good one.
Absolutely. You as well. Caroline Fenton, our guest on Robby and Rexrode. You can check her out every morning here on 102.5 The Game, 11 to 2 o'clock. Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. Coming up next, we'll react to what Caroline had to say, get into the Tennessee Titans, begin to look ahead to this weekend's matchup against Jacksonville. All that coming up. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. Hiller's Cash for the Holidays promotion is back, and they're giving away cash for the holidays with select purchases. Hiller wants to make sure every child experiences the joy of Christmas this year, and they're donating $50 in toys to Toys for Tots with every tankless water heater purchase, and giving away a $250 Visa gift card with each unit. Get a $500 Visa gift card when you buy select new HVAC systems, or a $500 Visa gift card with the purchase of any new whole home generator. These deals are only available until the end of the year, so schedule today at happyhiller.com.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and last sale of the year is here this weekend. It's an extraordinary event with savings up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, nothing's held back for this once-a-year 3-day store-wide event. Acclaimed designers are here with expanded collections and special pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. Luxury pre-owned Rolexes included. Lab-grown diamonds included. It's this Friday, Saturday, and yes, even open Sunday for this incredible event. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
I have to confess, I was very excited to call 911. Finally, a good one, and I realize that while what I'm about to say is true, it sounds suspicious. So I'm like, my wife fell down the stairs.
From his multiple Netflix specials, comedian Tom Segura brings his new tour, Come Together, to Bridgestone Arena Friday, April 12th. Tickets on sale Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com.
Score all the action this football season with great deals from Vivid Seats. From college games to NFL, there's nothing like seeing every block, blitz, and big play of your favorite team live. Vivid Seats celebrates fandom with unbeatable rewards like free tickets, surprise seat upgrades, and annual birthday deals. With Vivid Seats Rewards, you earn rewards with every purchase. From first down to final whistle, Vivid Seats has a great selection for all the 2023 games that matter to you. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Now you can get a Walmart Plus membership, plus not pay for it, because it's included with Straight Talk wireless plans. You get free delivery with Walmart Plus a Paramount Plus subscription included. Plus, you pay less for gas. That's a lot of pluses.
Only Straight Talk gives you unlimited 5G data and Walmart Plus included on select plans for free.
Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Requires service on Gold or Platinum Unlimited. One offer per eligible account. Paramount Plus Essential Plan only. Separate registration required. Additional terms apply.
Did you miss some of the show? Check us out on demand. Subscribe to the Robby and Rexrode podcast on Apple, Spotify, and other major podcast platforms.
This is Robby and Rexrode on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Preds fans, don't miss tonight's Smashville live show at Brewhouse 100 in Bellevue at 6 p.m. See your Predators star players up close and personal. Get autographs and pictures. This week's special guests are Preds goalies Kevin Lankinen and UC Saro. Smashville Live brought to you by the Black Abbey Brewing Company. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We are live from our 102.5 The Game studio. Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Thanks to Caroline Fenton for being with us in the last segment. We'll have Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com live in studio from 8 to 9 o'clock, talking all things Tennessee Titans. So Kuharsky coming up here in about 45 minutes or so. Looking forward to that conversation with him. Right now, taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. We were discussing the Texas A&M job. It does kind of feel like Lane Kiffin is gonna maybe head down that way. He was asked about it earlier this week, and his response was, yeah, I'm not going down that road again after what happened with him and Auburn last year. But I could see Kiffin ending up at A&M with the resources that they have and the money and the ability to recruit there. it does kind of feel like he's hit the ceiling at Ole Miss, and that would make some sense, I think, from both sides.
Yeah, he sat there after the game the other night, which we're seeing. We're seeing different variations of this. Pat Narduzzi, Deion Sanders, Lane Kiffin sort of basically saying, yeah, my players stink. Like, why'd you get killed in this game? Well, Lane's like, well, they have 25 5-stars and we have 1, or whatever he said. So, I mean, he complains. Look, I don't mind at all Lane Kiffin saying what he really feels about NIL and everything. I mean, I prefer that to mealy-mouthed coach speak,
Sure.
But he's made no bones about basically the fact that he wants to be at one of the places with all the resources. And so I think he would take that job in a second. Now, will they offer it to him? I don't know. I think Elko is a great idea. I think Elko has done a hell of a job at Duke. So,
yep.
I mean, Elko, I think, could be somewhere else here. But Lane, I think Lane would walk. He'd hitchhike Texas A&M. And on Caroline's point on Deion, if I was Deion, I would have zero interest leaving Colorado for Mississippi State. Mississippi State, you're going to go there and you're not going to win anything in the SEC. I mean, I don't care what you do. I mean, it'd be interesting to see what Deion could do there in terms of, trying to get them back rolling. I'm sure there'd be a lot of attention. He'd have a chance to get them back to a certain point. But, man, the SEC is not getting easier. Colorado, you can go win in the Big 12 the way he's recruiting. So he's an interesting case. Like, at some point, I'd expect him to probably move on from there. But, man, I feel like he's got to put in some years and actually win there, right?
You would think so. What about Jamie Chadwell? Not at Texas A&M, but, he was great at Coastal Carolina. He's got Liberty at 9-0 right now. We talked about him a while back for, the Tennessee job search.
Yeah, Vanderbilt for sure.
Vanderbilt for sure. Could he end up going somewhere and get a bigger job after this year with Liberty being 9-0 in the way that he's coached?
Yeah, and he's one of those guys who he's got something going schematically that's unique and very effective. So, yeah, I think there's a good chance that he's somewhere.
There was an image floating around, I think either yesterday or the day before, that had a Jamie Chadwell tweet, and the location was from Starkville, Mississippi. I believe it was photoshopped. I believe that's what we've ended up determining. But
okay.
That had people convinced he was going to Mississippi State. It's like, wow.
That's interesting.
He's already there.
Yeah. I don't hate that one.
No.
I don't hate.
It could be a good hire
I don't
for
hate
them.
Chadwell and Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Topmeyer had the idea of go see if Dan Mullen wants to coach again. Dan Mullen did a great job there one time. A lot of times that doesn't work out.
Anything to get him off my TV, I'm cool for.
Yeah, he's not very
good.
Not great. Not great. Not great at Florida either.
I had this big argument last week with Chase and Big Joe. Do you think Billy Napier is going to get fired at Florida?
No, I do not.
They're convinced that he will.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess I wouldn't put it 0%, but recruiting has gone well. I mean, and they've had. I mean, I think they've had about the season they were supposed to have. Right? Overall, they've actually had some surprisingly good Saturdays, and they've had some bad ones.
Yep. They have the number 3 class in America next year.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think if it was just atrocious on the field consistently this year, that'd be one thing. I mean, they kicked Tennessee's butt.
They did, which is still a very, very weird loss to explain.
Yeah, yeah.
Based on the way that Florida's played this year and what we've seen from Tennessee at times.
So Chase and Big Joe both are convinced that Napier's out.
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
I think Chase had 7 coaches being fired.
In the SEC?
Yeah, he had the A&M coach. You think he had?
He got that right.
He had Beamer at South Carolina being fired, Florida being fired, Arkansas.
Well, the Arkansas is going to happen.
Arkansas is going to happen. He had Mississippi State. So I think he had 5 or 6. But I don't think Beamer's getting fired, and I don't think Napier's getting fired.
I don't think Beamer's getting fired either. That's interesting. That South Carolina Clemson game is kind of big for both guys, right? The absolute Goober
Dabo on
Bowl.
the way out.
The Goober Bowl.
Dabo going to get fired?
I don't know if he's going to get fired, but Tyler from Spartanburg may escort him out of town.
Maybe so. I'm interested to see what happens with the A&M job. But if I had a betting favorite right now, I would go Kiffin. That would be probably the one that I would choose.
Will Texas A&M fans be excited if they hire Lane Kiffin?
Yeah, I think so.
Ish?
I think they will.
Straight up excited? Yeah.
I think they will. I think Kiffin's done a really good job at Ole Miss. I mean, that program, I think, is limited as to what you can do there. Like, I don't know that you can win a national championship at Ole Miss. I think he's done a pretty good job. Now, he's not won the bigger games. Like, the biggest win he has there is probably the LSU game this year.
Yeah.
And it's a good win, but I mean, obviously if you're going to get paid the amount of money that the A&M coach is going to make, they're going to expect you to compete for SEC West championships and compete for a spot in the college football playoff. Now, they've never done that, so is that fair expectations? I don't know, but that's what the expectation is going to be.
Yeah, that's what they are, even though, the profile of that program from every angle says elite, and then the performance never does.
Right.
So it's got to mean something. Maybe it's the weirdos, the kids and whatever the weird crap they do on Friday nights. I don't know.
There's some weird stuff going on down there.
Yeah, a little bit. Never been to College Station, so I can't speak on it, personally, but just I don't know that I want to. But yeah, Lane, I feel like he just gets blown out in every big game. And look, he's right that they're way outclassed on the field, but how many games, against Alabama that gets really hyped up and it's like, okay, maybe they got a chance, and then it's like, oh no, they're just completely
Well, his first year in there,
you'd like to see him be a little more competitive.
I agree. Like, his first year in there, he hung in there with Bama. I think they were at home, and it was like the final score was like 55-49 or something.
That's
like
right.
that.
They did have that shootout game. Yeah.
And that's when it was like, oh, Kiffin, his offense is giving teams trouble. And I mean, I do think there's just a talent disadvantage. Like, I do wonder at this stage of his career, because we've seen him at Tennessee and we've seen him at USC. So it's not like he's been at places before where you can't recruit.
And with the Raiders when he was younger than Keiser.
No, there's that. But at this stage of his career, given the path that he's taken, I am fascinated to see, like, if he was handed the keys to a program that has a ton of resources and a great profile of recruiting, all those things, what could he do with it? It's fascinating to me. I think he could do a good job.
Yeah. Well, what if he just would have stayed at Tennessee?
I've thought about that before.
I mean, because the thing is, he had that at Tennessee, and then he also had that at USC.
Tennessee would have been in
and he
maybe
blew
the
it.
death penalty.
Yeah. But they had a natty before it got vacated.
Maybe
like
so.
Michigan's natty will be this year. Hey, real quick, Keiser, I just want to let you know. Okay, I want to ask you about some movies real quick. Okay, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, A Few Good Men, Ghost of Mississippi, Stand By Me, The Sure Thing, Princess Bride.
I've seen like maybe 10% of those movies.
Okay.
Have you heard of those movies?
I've heard of some of them.
Okay. Those are all Rob Reiner movies. Right.
Shout out to The Princess Bride.
I mean,
that one I did know.
That's a great one. Stand By Me. I mean,
don't
The
know
Sure
that
Thing.
one.
When Harry Met Sally?
No, the one that you read prior.
I know, but I'm saying When Harry Met Sally?
Yeah, no.
A Few Good Men, Jack Nicholson, You Can't Handle the Truth?
A few Good Men,
Tom
yes.
Cruise?
Yes. So two of those I know.
All right.
By the way, speaking of Chase and Big Joe, they're also both convinced that Tennessee's taking down Georgia on Saturday. Your thoughts?
So they're unified in weird takes, huh?
I guess so.
There's a show of unified goofy takes?
Big Joe said yesterday it's going to be a long day for Georgia.
Wow.
I like it. I like
Okay.
it. Take a step out there. I enjoy it.
Hey, you know what? I don't rule it out. I don't rule it out. I think Tennessee has a chance to hang in there.
I'll go ahead and rule it out.
You're going to rule it out?
Yeah.
It just honestly, had they gone in and beat Missouri, even had a good game and lost a good game, I'd feel a lot different about this game. But combine that with what Georgia did to Ole Miss and how they're starting to look now,
it's going to be a long day.
It's going to be toughy. Might be a toughie.
615-737-1025. Our phone number. Coming up next, we'll get into the Titans and the Jags. A big one coming up on Sunday to see if they can keep the quarterback upright. I don't know how big the game itself actually is, but we'll get into that matchup next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Hey, JoJo, you know what it's time for?
Road trip.
We're going to go to Black Tap Craft Burgers and Beer Wednesday, November 15th for our show from 9 to 11.
Yeah, we're in downtown Nashville. Stop by, say hi. Great prizes, great giveaways, and a place you're going to remember.
Actor portrayal, based on a real patient experience. I'm Mike. I'm a husband, proud father of 2, work my butt off 6 days a week, some nights too. When my family or my company needs me to make it happen, I make it happen. But a few months ago, I started having trouble making it happen, in the bedroom. I tried some pills online, but they didn't work. Honestly, I thought about throwing in the towel on my sex life, but I'm not that old. I still want to enjoy intimacy with my wife. Like that poet said, I don't want to just go gently into that good night. So I went to the Tennessee Men's Clinic in Franklin. Got some lab work done, was prescribed some meds, and wow, it made it happen. I can't say enough about them. Their providers took care of me, followed up, and made sure I had a treatment plan that actually works. It's awesome. If I were you, and you're like me, I'd give them a call today, 615-208-9090, or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. If you're like most guys, they'll make it happen for you too.
Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatments extra. Results vary.
Need cash for the holidays or want to be credit card debt free for the new year? Call Loan Pronto today. Their Express Equity line of credit can get you $20, $50, $100,000 in as little as 5 days. Willie Donick here. Listen up. You've got a ton of equity in your home, and Loan Pronto can help turn that equity into cash to put it to use. You can access up to 95% of your home's value. Use the money to pay off all your credit cards or pay off personal loans. Start the home improvement project you've been looking for. You can get the money you need now and still keep your primary mortgage intact, so your 3% rate is protected. Call right now, 615-499-5780. Get the holiday cash you need or pay off all those credit cards. 615-499-5780 or go online at loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Hello, baby. Sammy Hagar presents the best of all worlds. I'm bringing some of my best friends along. Michael Anthony, Jason Bonham, and Joe Satriani. August 28th, Bridgestone Arena. With special guest Loverboy. One night, every era, and a whole lot of Van Halen. Tickets on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. at LiveNation.com.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You'll propose to her on that family trip in front of everyone. Brilliant.
I know.
The trip is only a month away.
But I don't have a ring.
Luckily, there's GageDiamonds.com with engagement rings in every style, certified natural diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, and moissanites.
Can I finance it?
Gage lets you buy the ring today and pay for it over time with our no credit needed financing.
Brilliant.
GageDiamonds.com. We're engagement's middle name. 25% off site-wide with code BFCM from November 11th to 28th. Exclusions apply.
Sometimes they take themselves too seriously.
Tony Stark? Yeah. Right, Robert Downey Jr. They killed off Iron Man. They did.
Actually, they never do that.
How do you kill Iron Man? Well, now you gotta go watch Unplug it? Yes. I mean, legit question. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm just... They killed Iron Man? Take the batteries out.
The Chase and Big Joe Show, brought to you by Regal Realty Group. Weekdays at 9 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Mookie Betts. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Tune in to 93.3 Classic Hits this Saturday for MTSU football. Blue Raiders kicking off at 1 o'clock at home against UTEP. Pregame beginning at 12 o'clock. Coverage also available on the 93.3 Classic app and at 93.3ClassicHits.com. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Nick Keyser, Paul Kuharski from PaulKuharski.com, who 90 minutes last week. We didn't run him off. He's in there again, baby. He's back. PK, welcome to the program.
Thank you, boys.
You feel like you can just tramp all over our show and just have as much of it as you like, huh?
I feel it's necessary.
Okay.
I think you need more of me than you get.
What's your beef?
Because
I know you have a beef.
You just said, if in your imagination Tennessee had done better last week than it did, you'd feel better about them against Georgia. Listen to that, Joe. If Tennessee, which got stomped by Missouri, had done better against Missouri, you'd feel better about them against Georgia. And you're already giving them a better chance against Georgia than you should give them.
So if a team, based on how a team performs, then maybe you feel a certain way about that performance? Like if that's good, then I feel better about the team. And if it's bad, I feel worse about the team. This is hard for you?
If the Yankees had a better season and made the playoffs, I would have felt like they could have won a playoff game.
Okay.
See what you're doing?
Yeah.
But they stunk, and they
Okay.
didn't make the playoffs, so they had no chance of winning the playoff game.
So if the Yankees went 20-8 in August as opposed to 8-20, would you feel better about September or worse?
I'd feel better.
Okay. This is not hard.
No, but what you're saying makes no sense. The game's over and played and in the
Right.
books.
So what
so
I'm
why would
saying-
you say if they played better, I'd feel better about them this week? We already know how they played.
Right. Dude, like there is no way this should be difficult for you. Had Tennessee played well against Missouri, had won the game, or had been competitive, I would feel better about their chances this week against Georgia. There is no way this is a problem.
Why are we going back and saying if they had when we know what they did? They stunk.
What?
Why do you need to
I
revise the
need
result?
Robbie to
Why do you
step
need
in
to
on that.
revise the result
I think you
of
two
the
are gonna
Tennessee
agree.
game when it's
Revising,
in evidence?
I'm just telling you that when I watch a team play, I usually base how they played on how I feel about how they're going to do the next week.
Yeah, listen to
Right?
the logic of it. If the Titans had protected Will Levis better last week, I'd feel better about them protecting Will Levis this week.
Okay, but now you're talking about something that's consistently bad. Tennessee is not consistently bad. Tennessee this year has looked good at times.
That
and
is
has looked
true.
bad at times. They looked bad last week. The Titans protecting Will Levis or whoever the quarterback is a consistent thing we know won't happen, right?
Yeah. I mean, Tennessee looked awful in that game.
They did.
I don't know why
I
we would go
agree.
back and give them
so
the
Tennessee,
potential to look
right?
good.
So Tennessee looking awful in that game makes me think
It
less of
influences
their
how you
chances.
feel about the
There's
Georgia
Anybody
no
who's
way
picking
this is hard.
Tennessee to beat Georgia this weekend is a complete homer. It'd be a huge upset. Like if you want to be the guy that picks a huge upset, that's fine. But when you're picking the home team for a huge upset, it's homerism.
Let me tell you, Tennessee's going to lose by 17 plus this weekend.
And if you're a
And
guy,
that's a message as much for Chase and Joe as it is for you.
well, and if you're a guy who says the word huge and likes to say it 3 times in one sentence, then go for it.
You can deflect if you want
Okay,
from your
I'm not
homerism.
deflecting.
But that's fine.
I just said it's not going to go well, right? Like I just talked it through and was like, yeah, it's probably not going to go well. But yes, had Tennessee been playing consistently well, and including last week, and had put together a good game and played good defense, had stopped their running back, had they
Had
played
these 16 things
Right.
happened that didn't
Right.
happen,
Right.
I'd feel great about it.
Well, yeah,
But none of them happened.
like what is no this is wrong. This is wrong what you're doing right now. This is wrong. Robbie, help me out. He's wrong.
I think he's right.
No, you're just whatever. I hate you guys.
It's all love. Peace and love. Like Ringo Starr.
Jacksonville favored by 6.5 on Sunday against the Titans. Had the Titans played better this last Sunday, maybe
The number would
Jacksonville
be
is favored by
smaller.
4.5. Who knows what could have happened that time
And
out?
had the Jags played better.
PK, is this the worst offensive line you've ever seen with
No.
the Titans?
No, the offensive line that got Ken Wisenhunt fired was worse.
It's pretty bad.
But people should be aware that offensive line and bad pass protection of a young quarterback got Ken Wisenhunt fired. And if they don't fix this offensive line in this offseason, people should be fired.
So you're saying Rand Carthon's a 2-and-done G&M?
I'm saying that Rand Carthon's got big work ahead of him, and he better fix the offensive line. And I think Mike Vrabel has more power than Rand Carthon, so he better fix the offensive line.
Well, they have the other part of that is they have the tools to do it. You've got your draft capital, but you also have $100 million in cap space.
Yeah,
now,
well,
we've talked about the left tackle part of it.
There's not a left tackle
For sure.
heading for free agency that is what they need. And a lot of people out there are saying, by the way, just average. Just give us average after Daly and Dillard. No, they need a guy who's got the chance to be a premier left tackle. I don't want to hear any talk of Marvin Harrison Jr. or anything. Whatever they need to do, they may miss out on the top 2 left tackles because there are a lot of left tackle hungry. Then they need to hit a home run with the third left tackle. They have to absolutely pick the right one out of the next bunch. And if he's not worth the 7th or 8th pick in the draft, then they need to position themselves wherever you position yourselves to get the 3rd left tackle or overdraft him. I don't care. You have to come out of this draft with a starting foundational left tackle who you're going to want to sign to a second contract, and you can't miss. You've given up all your misses.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
But real quick, you're not wrong with all, but that's where it gets interesting when we're talking Carthon Vrabel, right? Because like Carthon's had one offseason,
right?
So he hasn't given up all his misses.
He inherits
he inherited all the misses
of the father.
Exactly. He inherited all the misses. Now Vrabel, it's not like Vrabel, as we've talked about a million times. Vrabel has been there for all.
On some of them, but he didn't have final say. So he's absolved to some degree.
And you're reporting right now that he definitely has final say?
On not having final say. Look, I'm going to believe what they tell us because Mike Vrabel hasn't lied to me or to us collectively. Both agree on something. So they both have to agree on this left tackle. So
okay.
The day the season's over, you better start working on collaborating on finding a home run.
So you're saying if they had a chance to draft Marvin Harrison Jr., you wouldn't even consider it?
I wouldn't.
I think I would.
I would too, depending on. So that's the thing. It's like, okay, are the Penn State Notre Dame guys that like them, and then everybody like how do you tier it? Right. There are a lot of left tackles in this draft. Now, I don't know how they compare.
Look, I don't watch enough college football to know, and certainly when I'm watching college football, I'm not an intensive line play
left
watcher
tackle.
who could.
If
tell
only you
about
watch
left
more
tackle.
college football, you might know something about college football. See how that works, Paul? Not hard.
I watch pro football for a living, and on Saturday I allow myself to have a family life like a normal human being instead of somebody that thinks like somebody having a wedding on a Saturday in the fall is a crime against mankind.
It's a misdemeanor, but go ahead.
Yeah, because if I missed a Michigan State football game in the fall, it would ruin my life. I think that they just the two are right now rated as the best, and I would imagine they would stay the best. But we know how much movement on boards there is between now and then. I mean, heck, these guys' careers aren't even finished, right? Or better yet, the rest of the guys. But there are 10 tackles right now who are rated pretty well. I don't want them waiting till the second round and taking the second round tackle. I think unquestionably it's got to be a tackle. Now, if you need to move to make that the right value, move.
I might take Marvin.
Look, and plus, like how many wide receivers could they take and either misuse or ruin?
Well, I think Harrison is going to end up being a different cat.
They didn't mess up A.J. Brown.
They did not.
Well, they messed him up by shipping him out of town.
That's true. They did do that. So Rexrode threw it out there the other day.
Had they not traded him, he'd be with the Titans. See?
Well,
Again,
there's that.
Just try logic.
So Rexrode threw it out there the other day, and we've tried to hashed out the Skoronski left tackle thing, and they're not willing to do it. I do though at some point wonder, like Levis is taking an absolute beating out there. He got hit 13 times on Sunday. They put Radens out there when Dillard goes down, and he just gets caved in left and right. Like, and Rexrode's point was at some point, is there not a responsibility from the coaching staff to do everything you can do to try to help get your young quarterback through the season? Because right now, I don't know that he's going to make it through the season.
Inside out, Robbie. We build inside out.
They do.
I mean, they don't move off of these principles. They don't. I don't know why. They're married to a principle that doesn't serve them, doesn't serve their quarterback.
But now, they move other guys around. You know what I mean? So I mean, they move Radens inside, outside. I mean, like they've done it with other guys. So why would it be?
Well, Radens practices inside and outside. So that's what
Sure.
they're going to say is that they haven't. Skoronski hasn't worked anywhere else. But if they came out of a Sunday and started Skoronski on Monday working, they do very little on Monday, but started the mindset. Peter, this week you're going to be a tackle. He was a tackle in college. Is it that big of an adjustment to say, starting this week, you're going to be left tackle? I don't know why you wouldn't be trying everything conceivable to get better. So I think it's a stubbornness thing. I mean, I think he's a good guard to a very good guard, and so they're feeling like, well, there's one spot that's a foundational central piece to what we're doing, and they're being stubborn about it. And also, I don't think they feel like they've got good replacements. I mean, Levin got bypassed for Rupsich at guard here. It's not like the depth is good anywhere, but if you're scrambling the line like you're saying and trying, Rupsich is a tackle who played guard. So they're okay with tackles at guard, but they're not okay with a guard at tackle. I think that's kind of the overall thinking here.
They must think there's no chance of this, but is there not at least some chance that Skoronski goes out there and he's great, and then all of a sudden your draft plan is moot because you can just go get a receiver? You're probably still going to get a
I don't know that he's going to be great.
Tackle.
I guarantee you he's not as bad at left tackle as what we've seen to this point. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Agree.
Oh, yeah, I would agree too. But, I mean, maybe he's even – all of a sudden it's like, oh, yeah, actually he should be there, and who cares about his Tyrannosaurus Rex arms?
Yeah, I don't know. 615-737-1025, our phone number. Coming up next, it's time for the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode. You can check it out every morning at 7:45. Got some tickets to give away to see MTSU football take on UTEP coming up at Floyd Stadium this Saturday. Be caller 3, 615-737-1025. You can see MTSU football at home on Saturday at Floyd Stadium taking on UTEP. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Whether it's college football,
Players might end up not going to Alabama or Georgia.
or the NFL,
I think that this team wins the AFC South.
Trevor knows. Join ESPN's Trevor Maddich every Tuesday at 4:30 on Stillman and Company as he gives his opinions on the latest from the gridiron.
I'm going to the team where I can get a ring.
Trevor Maddich brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, where experience matters, on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It's the Electronic Express Black Friday Savings Marathon. Every Sunday means hot new deals. Get the gifts you want and save up to 50% throughout the entire store. Get a TCL 65-inch 4K TV, now only $349, plus other hot deals. At Electronic Express, dream big, pay small with up to 36 months special financing on deals like a Frigidaire kitchen package, only $15.99, or a Microsoft Surface Pro 9, now only $8.99. Shop the Black Friday Savings Marathon at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal. And it's happening this weekend. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one, where the staff knows they can break all the rules. Plus, Genesis selection is nearly double. Designers are here from LA and New York with their entire collections on sale. Luxury pre-owned Rolexes are also marked down. All lab-grown diamonds are also included. The last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Save up to 35%. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only, and only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills, and Cool Springs.
Hey, let me tell you about Nashville newcomer Black Tap Craft Burgers and Beers in downtown Nashville. Black Tap features award-winning craft burgers, wings, salads, Instagram-famous Crazy Shake milkshakes, and kicking cocktails. Also, enjoy Black Tap's game day offer during NFL and college games and score your choice of wings with All-American Burger, plus a pint of beer for only $15. Happy hour starts from 4 to 7, and it's rocking. Go check out Black Tap downtown for its next-level craft food and drink, unmatched fun, throwback vibe, and awesome people. Hey, discounted parking is also available.
It's time to celebrate this fall and unleash the beast. Monster Brewing proudly presents to you Beast Unleashed. 0 caffeine, 0 sugar, all the adult beverage fun. The Beast is unleashed with great taste, bold familiar flavors, and 6% alcohol. Go wild with Mean Green, White Haze, Peach Perfect, and Scary Berries. Don't fear the Beast. Enjoy Beast Unleashed at your next tailgate or football party. Drink responsibly. Must be 21 and over.
Discover, this is Daniela.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to thank you for making me feel so special. I earned cash back on debit for my dinner party groceries.
That's great, but with Discover Cashback Debit, we give everyone cash back on everyday purchases. Anything else I can help you with?
Do you like asparagus and mushroom sorbet? I've got leftovers.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cash back. It pays to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashbackdebit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Yeah, whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
He breaks down every game.
The players are still going to be fine.
And knows the ins and outs of the two-tone blue.
They deal with their own position coaches.
He is ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter Teron Davenport.
It's clear what he's doing.
TD joins every Monday at 1, Thursdays at 3, Friday mornings at 8, and anytime on the Talkin' with TD podcast.
I think that's really cool how he could show both sides.
TD is on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hello, fellow kids. Make sure you're following us on X, the website formerly known as Twitter.
At 102.5 The Game, at RStanleyNHL, and at Joe Rexrode.
See, even I'm hip.
This is Robby and Rexrode on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment, let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
Oh, this is so frustrating.
He's kind of ugly, though.
It is that time of the day, time for the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode. You can check it out every morning at 7:45. Joe Rexrode's rant of the day. There's some nervousness creeping in from Rexrode. Kuharski's here. Joe's scared to have a rant because he thinks it's not going to be good enough.
Can we mute? Yeah, can we mute Kuharski? Can you perma-mute him for this segment? I don't want him
That's
winning.
the button right here. I don't like to use the button, but my finger's on the button.
I will if I have to.
You don't like to use the huge button.
He is deflecting, isn't he?
Well, whatever.
We can all hear the nervousness in your voice.
There is some nervousness because I really debated, and you know what?
It's going to involve naming a name, and he hates to do that.
Be quiet for a minute. I do want you guys to tell me if bringing this up is a bad idea.
It's fine.
You can rant on me if you want.
Okay.
And I really went back and forth. It was brought to my attention the other day, and I read it, and it's one of the worst things I've ever read in my life. I mean, and the thing is,
I think I know
if it was something where it's just out of the blue on the internet or something like that, well, then you just ignore it. But I mean, I don't know Karan J. Phillips. I know people who know him. He's actually written some things. He's written some stuff about Deion that I think is really good for Deadspin, and about what Deion did leaving Jackson State and everything like that. Like, you know, every once in a while I read his stuff. Going back to, I think he was at the New York Post. I mean, he was up for the Tennessean columnist job that Gentry Estes got after I left the Tennessean in 2019. So he's a guy who's in media who does things that are, I would call, legitimate. He wrote a piece the other day about Ryan Tannehill, and I'm not gonna get too much into specifics. It's so bad, it's so irresponsible. But basically, that Tannehill, he cherry picked quotes from like the mentor quote and like what he said about Will Levis and like made it a race thing. Like, did you see this, PK?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, why you're hesitating at all to rip him for this, I don't know.
No, because it's one of those things where it's like, I don't even know if it's worth bringing up because it's so bad because it gives it oxygen. But again, this guy has oxygen, and it's really disappointing. It
was an atrocious piece of journalism.
It's atrocious. It's bad because, you know, it's not no work at all done to do anything on this, to look into this at all. I mean, it's two totally different situations. I mean, Tannehill answering questions after he lost his job versus, and again, we went through the mentor thing anyway. I mean, Malik Willis and Ryan Tannehill have had a great relationship. That's been documented. Ryan Tannehill's actually been outspoken on race issues. That's been documented. I mean, it's sad that that headline, you know, is floating through Twitter, and like there's some people who are going to look at it like, wow, maybe there's something to this. I mean, it's really, really irresponsible. Very disappointing. So I don't know. Should I have brought it up?
Absolutely. Yeah. And you should crush the guy. It's incredibly irresponsible. Ryan Tannehill was at the forefront of stuff with Kenny Stills dealing with racism issues when the Titans went into social justice mode. after George Floyd, he was at the front of the room with Kevin Byard delivering really strong stuff. I mean, to suggest that he's racist by cherry-picking quotes about the first thing he said about Malik in an awkward situation, which he then amended later, which isn't included in this. It's just absolutely ridiculous. People should be absolutely roasting the author of this piece, whose name I'm not going to repeat.
Well, I already did. Well, you just said name names. I just named a name, and now you're not going to name the name?
Well, once we name it once, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's a garbage piece from a garbage website that nobody should waste their time reading.
Which was once a good website.
Was once good, and it's turned into a steaming hot pile of heaping trash. So I wouldn't waste your time reading it. But to your point, I mean, it's cherry picking quotes about Malik Willis that happened over a year ago, and then providing quotes about Will Levis totally out of context. It's an absolute atrocity.
It's amazing that Tennessee didn't hire the guy.
Well, it's like, and again, like I have read things by him where, like in particular, some of the Deion stuff that it seemed to me like, yeah, this is a pretty good handle on the subject matter. Like, here's what happened, here's the quotes, here's right. But you read this and you're like either going out of your way to be dishonest about it, or at the very least, it's like just spending 5 minutes of searching stuff on the internet and then trying to make a connection.
Didn't have any interest in doing that.
No, it's about generating as much conversation as you can generate. That's what that was about.
But the thing is, there's a lot of serious stuff when it comes to race that needs to be discussed and needs to have light shined on it and all that stuff. So when something like this is just basically manufactured, it discredits the whole thing. Like there's way more. There are a lot of things that are serious out there that should be dealt with. And this is just like, what? How did you even come up with this in your mind?
Yeah, it's total garbage. So I'm glad that you brought that up because it needed to be called out. I do have some breaking news in the NFL to get to. Deshaun Watson, this is Ian Rappaport putting it out there, a season-ending shoulder injury that he suffered against the Ravens in the first quarter last week, a displaced fracture in his right glenoid, whatever that is, in his shoulder. He has surgery to repair it. Full recovery is expected, but Deshaun Watson now out the remainder of the year for the Browns.
And the thing is, they could still do damage with that defense that they have. I mean, he finally played well against the Ravens, but I don't know that anybody thought, hey, this is Deshaun Watson back and on track.
But it was a perfect second half.
Hey, he played a good half. But, I mean, that investment is,
it's terrible.
Been just ridiculously bad.
I actually was looking at them like, you know what? Watch out with that defense and him having a half like that.
I think they're still
interesting,
dangerous. I mean, they're not winning the Super Bowl, but they're going to make things difficult for some people. And they could look, that 7 spot is wide open. I think the AFC is probably 6 good teams, and the door's open for a 7th team to get in, and that could well be the Browns.
Titans?
No. They're 15th of 16. Think of the climb they'd have to make. I mean, even if you wrote out a fantasy script for them, I don't think the most optimistic guy, often you as a homer, could come up with a scenario where they find their way in.
If the Titans beat the Jags, do you feel better about their chances?
No.
Oh, okay. That wouldn't matter?
I mean,
winning a game, playing well wouldn't I mean,
I wouldn't feel winning a game and playing well would not make me think, oh, they're going to go on a run here where they win 4 of 5 against their division.
But you wouldn't think better of their chances.
I would. Slightly better.
All right. The answer is yes. So you lied. The answer is yes. Thank you. Thank you for being honest.
That has nothing to do with you saying that if UT had imaginarily played better in a game that's already in the books, things would be better for them in the next game.
If teams play better and look better, then I think different of their chances. And if they play worse and lose, then I feel less.
Sure, that makes
really
sense.
hard.
That makes sense.
It's really difficult.
That makes sense going forward.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't make sense going back to a game in which they didn't play well, imagining that they played well.
We must never discuss things that could have happened. Must never discuss
Coming up in the next segment, we're going to go back to many games in history, and we're going to change the results and see what it would have made us feel.
At some point, you became
the Bills win 4 Super Bowls. How do we feel about them now?
Let's go back to when you were like 23 and became like the bitter old man path of your entire life. Like what happened that day? What did someone like poop in your cereal? Like what happened?
Like this is basically what you're saying. The Bills win one of those Super Bowls.
Did that happen in 23?
That's not what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
It's akin of what
this is gonna.
to what
We're gonna get back into this whole. This is the most excited people have been about the Titans since when? Last year. Was it more than last year? Yes. So it's not last year.
Rexrode's long fuse on display again.
Yeah, I know. When you were trying to get people to be more excited than the year before.
This is the day that I really put on the long.
Real quickly, you know what the most amazing part about this playoff race is to me in the AFC? Pittsburgh 6-3. They're number 5 right now. They're not a good football team.
Outscored by how many points?
It's just terrible. 6-3. We'll continue the conversation with Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com. Coming up next, get into all things Titans with him. Take your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5-106.3 The Game.
Every day we are live and local.
You need to give Ryan Tannehill a 2-year extension.
There haven't been too many coaching changes for the Predators. And your source for Nashville sports.
I think that's what the Titans need.
Players who can score. We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Want an inexperienced surgeon?
Okay, nurse. I'm ready for the scalpel.
How about an inexperienced airline pilot?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain, and I'm terrified.
Experience matters, and we have it.
Regal Realty Group is experienced to help you from contract to close. They know the area, understand financing, and have up-to-date property listings and comparisons. Oh, and lots of experience. Visit RegalRG.com.
Teddy's Tavern, downtown's newest bar with an old Nashville feel, is conveniently located across the street from Bridgestone Arena and just blocks away from the pedestrian bridge. Get a taste of the new brunch menu to fuel your Titans Day pride on game day. Pre-game specials from 9 a.m. till kickoff when the Titans play at home include 2-for-1 draft beers, mimosas, and Bloody Marys. Teddy's Tavern is where you want to be before every Titans home game, so come downtown early and meet me at Teddy's.
Your company's hiring. Who isn't? We would love to show you how to use 102.5 The Game to attract and retain employees. We can also help you find the exact person you're looking for with a targeted digital campaign. You can trust our team to help you build your team. Email us at together@cromwellmedia.com.
One of the most influential metal bands of all time. For the fans, for the brothers, for legacy. Pantera. Friday, February 9th, Bridgestone Arena. With special guests, Lamb of God. On sale this Friday, 10 a.m. at LiveNation.com. Pantera, live in concert.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Now, your Game Center update.
This update is delivered by Black Tie Moving. I'm Nick Keyser. The Nashville Predators had a 2-goal lead over the Anaheim Ducks, but fell 3-2 last night. Anaheim has now 6 comeback wins through their first 15 games this season. What did forward Juuso Parssinen have to say about taking the next few days to recuperate?
Of course, I think we have 3 practice days, so we have time to figure things out and go through stuff individually and as a group. And on the other side, let loose like mentally. And then when we come back Saturday, we gotta be hard and show again how good team we are and get a win.
And the number 1 Kansas men's basketball team defeated the Kentucky Wildcats last night in the United Center. Hunter Dickinson dropped 27 points and grabbed 20 rebounds. He's the first Jayhawk with that point total over the last 25 years. And over in the MLB, Skip Shoemaker was named the NL Manager of the Year, while Brandon Hyde was named the AL Manager of the Year. This update has been delivered by Black Time Moving. Use the promo code GAME to score 10% off of your next move.
Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3.
79-52 Vanderbilt.
And I think he's got a coach
shot by Cheryl.
You're going to see more moves. The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive, this is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Stand back! There's a hurricane coming through.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Paul Kuharski from paulkuharski.com with us for the next hour, talking all things Tennessee Titans, taking your thoughts as well. 615-737-1025, our phone number. PK, some back and forth between you and Vrabel this week about effort, execution, things of the like. Did you feel like the Titans had an effort problem on Sunday against Tampa Bay?
I overparsed there maybe on Monday, but I see some body language that suggests to me they're not necessarily playing, super hard. I'm not buying the effort is impeccable thing any longer. And he basically said that on Monday. Like there was a broad point he made, like, well, you don't get exceptional effort from everybody on every play, which is an admission that his team is not exempt from the way the league works, that he's never made before, which I think is a sad fact of the NFL, which is one of the downsides of the league, which I hate. I think guys should play hard every snap for their livelihood, to live up to their paycheck, to sustain their livelihood, their job now and ongoing and all of that stuff. My thing is, if the effort is good, this was my Sunday thing. He's saying the effort is good. We know he thinks that the preparation is good. So if the effort is good and the preparation is good, how can the execution be so poor?
Because the players are not good?
That's the answer. The talent is not good. And nobody with the team is ever going to say that. So I said it. You said it. We're going to say it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm glad you said you overparse, because I think you did overparse on this one, which is not uncommon with you. Because
well, I do overparse, but I want them to make sense.
Having self-awareness.
And this is the thing about me. I do it, but I want people to make sense. And when the things people say don't add up, it frustrates me. I take it too far sometimes. I admit that. I raise my hand to that.
Thank you.
But when things don't add up, it pisses me off.
Yeah. So you really think, though, like the bigger picture here that you just said, you think there's an effort issue in the NFL? Like you think, like on a typical Sunday, you're watching
players who take snaps off, and I think this idea of not running to get to the ball to help is there, and nobody acknowledges it.
I mean, I'm
like on that screen. Like there were guys on the backside of that screen that didn't run to help that out. I'm not saying it's an epidemic, but I'm saying where everybody says we run to the ball on every snap, every time is BS.
Well, first of all, I think that teams that are going well, and we've seen it with this defense, like when things are going well and you've got it going and you've got a team. Anyway, I think we've seen it with this defense even at home this year. So, like, there's just an extra little bit of energy, right?
We reveal our character, Joe, at times when things are not going well.
Yeah, well,
we have heard that time and time again.
Yes, I agree. But also, I think what Vrabel said, I totally buy it, which is like, I mean, if you want to go through the film on every team, every play, you're gonna find a guy like you could have done. But I don't watch the NFL and think anything but, wow, these guys are volunteering to get themselves killed to play this sport.
I don't disagree with that. I'm saying that if you're preaching to me that the 9th, 10th, and 11th guy are busting their tail to get involved, it's BS. And we're preached that a lot, and people tend to buy that a lot.
Well, and I think some of the things that I've seen from fans this week that I think is a fair question, and we'll see what it looks like. But if things continue to go poorly this way, do we see more of that as the season goes?
And also, if you bust your ass, if you're Monty Rice and you're busting your ass and you're running inside when the guy you're chasing is bouncing outside.
Right. That's execution.
Right. I'm not really concerned that your effort is fantastic. If it's mindless effort.
Yeah. No, but to your point, Robbie, look, it's one of those things that's subtle. Like, again, people, what's one of our biggest pet peeves on this show is like, oh, they quit. No, they quit. Like, yeah, you're not going out there and quitting, man. But is there being at 100 and then there's being at 93 or 88? Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure that's absolutely a thing that happens with teams that lose. I mean, some of these guys, a lot of these guys, they're trying to stay in the league, and you don't want to put crap on a film.
No, I agree. I agree with that. And I don't think
But some of them aren't.
But there are some guys on this team that lack heart. Andre Dillard is not a dog. A good kind of dog. Right? He's a bad kind of dog.
Is there like a breed?
He's not the Browns dog pound kind of dog.
Right.
Dogging it? Are you saying he's dogging it?
I'm saying that when the moment comes where you've got to dig down deep and do everything, I'm saying Dylan Radins had a snap. Big Joe on the go had a tweet of it where it looked like a drill where the coach says, all right, we're not going to use our arms on this snap because it's going to teach us like how valuable our arms are on the rest of the snap.
Yeah.
And he had a snap where he backed up with his arms at his side and got abused. Where you think like, okay, the next snap where I use my arms, it's going to be so efficient because I see how effective I could be with my arms. And you think, well, what is this guy doing? I'm no expert at offensive line play, but I understand the usefulness of the arms.
It does seem to be an important thing to do.
I mean, he got run over
what is he doing?
On that play.
And this goes to show, like, everybody says, well, get Radins out there. Get Radins out there. It can't be worse. You got to get Radins out there. He was horrific. Radins was horrific. And top it off with not just getting beat, but then he false starts 2 times in a row. And that series is over.
2nd and 1.
Goes to 2nd and 10 immediately. So let me ask you both this, because obviously everyone would agree the personnel on the offensive line is not good enough, and it's a huge issue. But is it fair in your mind to question, if you're a Titans fan today, you say, okay, you fired Keith Carter, you fired your offensive line coach, and the best thing you could do was to promote his assistant. Why could you not look elsewhere?
He interviewed fantastically well, Robby. I mean, when you're swept off your feet by an assistant, look, I mean, I don't know that we have to accept it, but Vrabel brings in guys at all levels, and he allows for the guys at the junior level to work their way up, right? Has it worked for Ryan Crow? I mean, I don't think the outside linebackers are playing great right now, but I think the body of work under Ryan Crow has been good overall, right? Since Ryan Crow has been the outside linebacker coach.
Yep.
So there's an instance of it working, right? It hasn't worked in all aspects. And I would prefer that there was more of a mix and match. Well, sometimes I'm going to promote from within, but sometimes in a trouble area like offensive line, I'm going to say, I need to find an outside offensive line guy who's going to bring us something new and who's got a real history of developing some linemen who maybe aren't as good as we need them to be, but can tap into them and get them to be better. And if I'm hiring an assistant of somebody, it's not going to be the assistant of the guy I just fired. It's going to be the assistant of the Eagles guy who's regarded as one of the best offensive line coaches.
My guy, Jeff Stoutland.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a fair question, and I don't have any problem with Haas, the guy they did hire, on a personal level or anything like that. I think he works his ass off and all of that. And the number one thing, and it's never just one thing, but the number one thing I urge people to look at is the guy himself, right? It's not Andre Dillard's coaching that's the problem. It's Andre Dillard
100%.
who's the problem. But then as you look at the layers beyond that, yeah, I'd prefer that they had gone outside and gotten somebody who had more stripes.
Which is what Vrabel did for the secondary, by the way. I mean, Vrabel did do that. I think people forget that.
Yeah.
And he went out and got Chris Harris. People are trying to – that's not one of his guys. He went out and got him.
Correct.
So we need to be better there. Anthony Midget, so like he has done it.
And people will bitch about Chris Harris and say he hasn't. Now, I think Chris Harris has had an excellent breakthrough with Roger McCreary. Roger McCreary had like 8 penalties last year and 3 more that were declined. He's got 1 penalty this year. I think he's doing a far better job at finding the ball. I think he's got a comfort level at nickel in half a season where last year he played. Now this week he played outside.
Well, he played outside
because they had no other options. No other options, Vrabel said, which tells you that at the bottom of the roster in Trey Avery and Kendall, I keep messing up his last. No, not Vilder, who's gone. The undrafted rookie who's local. Jackson.
No,
yes.
Kendall Jackson's a kind of wine.
Kendall that's what I keep messing up.
Anthony Kendall.
Sorry.
God.
Anthony Kendall. Well, the reason I don't know his name is because they won't play him. The reason I don't know his name is because they won't play him. So he basically said these 2 guys are non-factors defensively.
Right.
So the bottom of this roster has people who are incapable of playing offense or defense. They're strictly special teamers. That's how bad this roster is. We had no choice. Why did you play? Nick Suss asked, what was the choice about putting McCreary outside? We had no choice was the answer. So that's how strapped he is by the roster, he feels like. They have guys who are on the roster as cornerbacks who he feels are unfit to play defense in the National Football League. That's a problem.
We'll have more with Paul Koharski from paulkoharski.com coming up next. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
When you want all the...
Going in and the score. Blast the score. He risks one, they score.
And don't forget the...
Oh, what a stop. Sliding across to make the save. Backhander, nice stop.
When all you want is Smashville. We have you covered. Hear every Predators game right here. We are your home for Smashville. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
30 Seconds to Mars presents Seasons, the World Tour. Live in Nashville, featuring AFI. With special guests, Poppy and Kenny Hoopla. Ascend Amphitheater, Saturday, August 3rd. Get tickets this Friday at 10 a.m. at livenation.com. The brand new album, It's the End of the World, But It's a Beautiful Day, is available everywhere now. Part of the Journeys concert series.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and last sale of the year is here this weekend. It's an extraordinary event with savings up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, nothing's held back for this once-a-year 3-day store-wide event. Acclaimed designers are here with expanded collections and special pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. Luxury pre-owned Rolexes included. Lab-grown diamonds included. It's this Friday, Saturday, and yes, even open Sunday for this incredible event. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger. Because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Isn't that aroma just heavenly?
What's with the whispering?
Inside this grill is the secret to winning game days.
Eckrich smoked sausage, crafted with a perfect medley of spices for a truly rich, savory taste. So easy to prepare, too. Now, hand me one of those buns.
Whoa, keep your voice down.
Marty, you're still whispering? Secret's out, buddy. Eckrich.com has dozens of simple, mouth-watering recipes for everyone to win game days this season.
At the Home Depot, Saturdays are about 2 things. Getting projects done right with Behr Premium Plus interior paint.
And football.
That's right, Kirk Herbstreit. And with Behr's wall-to-wall coverage and long-lasting durable finish, you'll spend less time worrying about your walls.
Which means more time for football.
For football. Upgrade your Saturday with Behr and the Home Depot. how doers get more done.
Do you like what you're hearing? Do you want your business to be featured on Robby and Rexrode every morning? This is General Manager Sean Ford. 102.5 The Game listeners love supporting our advertisers. Let us show you how you can be a part of the program. Email it together@cromwellmedia.com.
This is Robby and Rexrode on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, live from our 102.5 The Game studio, brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Paul Kuharski from paulkuharski.com with us, talking all things Tennessee Titans, taking your thoughts. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. PK, what did you think of Levis on Sunday, albeit not a whole lot to go off of considering he was getting killed every time he dropped back to pass, but overall, what did you make of the way Levis played?
I thought it was impressive that he kept getting up.
Impressive? How many touchdowns did he throw?
I think that.
Huh? Impressive?
I said specifically that it was impressive that he kept getting up. Listen to the context. I don't think there's anything you could judge. I don't think there's anything you could really judge about him, given that he was under such fire for with such regularity. I mean, what can you? I mean, he was off target. He, at the rate that he's getting hit, he's going to get hit 100 times in the games that he plays. They've got to do something. I will say this, and I hope people will stay tuned to this. Shortly after we're done here, I'll post Mike Herndon's post. And the gist of what Mike Herndon has to say, and this is really good, is you can't fear ruining him the rest of the season. And we all cite David Carr and others, yep. Joey Harrington, Josh Freeman. We were coming up with a list. He cites a bunch of other people.
Carr is a fair one to bring up.
Yeah, well, Carr is also an extreme, right? Mike cites some other people who were sacked a ton early. And there might be some names that you recognize. Joe Burrow,
yep.
Justin Herbert.
Let me guess one. Troy Aikman?
No,
okay.
He didn't go that far back. Jared Goff, Andrew Luck, Tom Brady. I guess he went far back for that one. All of them turned out just fine.
Yeah.
So, and there's too much of the fan base saying, like, take them out, bubble wrap them, put Tannehill and Willis in there and let them take the
sacrificial lamb.
Let's be as unwatchable as possible.
It's just not what you do. I mean, you game plan as best you can. You get it at what you can. You hope he doesn't get hurt. It's not an automatic that he gets hurt. Quarterback sacks are, I believe, somewhat at least a quarterback stat. And
well, you posted to that point.
You roll them out there.
Yeah, you posted a one of those charts, which had Levis way on the left, right, in terms of it was like, but which actually spoke to me a little bit about him needing to get rid of the ball.
Yeah,
right?
What he does after pressure arrives.
Yeah, but West on Broadway, I just want to put this out here on the put in context. So Levis has been hit 25 times, which is 13th most in the NFL.
Yep,
that's 3 games. And everybody else on the top 15 has played in at least 8 games.
It's amazing.
So, like obviously Kirk Cousins, poor Kirk Cousins and Joshua Dobbs, 45 and 39, top of the list. But Dobbs gets to step into that Vikings situation. I mean, Mahomes is up there too. But point being, that's a huge number, huge with an H number, and he's going to get hit a lot. But I agree with you. I will ask you guys both this though, and it's a guy that we've brought up, and I know Robbie will be excited about this. So Jared had this take of the Titans ruined Mariota, which is stupid.
Stupid.
But I will say
Mariota went on to such great things after.
But I will say that I do think that Mariota, and this is purely my own theory, I thought I saw a different guy in 2016. Don't know where it was going to end up. Probably wasn't going to end up being number 2 pick worthy, but was on a trajectory, played well. Like, there was promise. Breaks his leg, second to last game against Jacksonville. Think about 17 and how he played. Think about an 18 more injury. I do feel like he started to see ghosts in the pocket, and I have to think that maybe going back to that major injury that affected him to some extent.
It was probably never the same after that. But the problem with Marcus was he was not that mentally tough. And if you're not that mentally tough, you're not the guy. And he wasn't the guy. I think Will Levis, from what we know of him, appears to be pretty mentally tough. I feel comfortable saying at this stage that Will Levis is mentally tough. I feel comfortable at this stage saying I expect him to be more mentally tough than Marcus Mariota was.
I agree. I agree with the idea that he has to play, and plenty of quarterbacks have taken hits and sacks and been fine. It's the serious injury where,
right.
I mean, it is understandable, right? Human beings, that if you have something in the pocket and you get a really nasty Joe Theismann injury in there,
right.
How are you not a little bit skittish when you finally get healthy again and get back in the pocket?
If he gets what Ryan Tannehill has, I don't want to say fine. Like, I'm not – nothing's fine. But if he suffers like a regular injury, that's part of football. If he suffers what Mariota suffered or something substantially bad, what you can't have is something he has to spend his offseason rehabbing. You need him to spend his offseason footballing.
And that is a distinct possibility. Unfortunately.
That's the distinction.
I'll knock on the wood here.
Right?
But, I mean, this offensive line can get somebody hurt
You need him to be okay for the start of OTAs. This is a terrible conversation to have, right? What level of injury can Will Levis sustain?
It's just a flesh wound.
Awful. And look, everybody who has a hand in this pass protection, the 5 guys who are out there, the depth behind them, and every hand in the architecture of this group, Robinson and Vrabel and Carthon's involved in it, are super guilty of creating this situation where Tannehill's hurt, not that he should have been the guy who stayed in there, and where Levis is at the kind of risk where we're actually having a conversation like this.
Are you sensing some frustration from Jeffrey Simmons starting to boil over with the way the offense is playing right now?
A little bit. I mean, he mentioned that they need to score. But I think Jeffrey Simmons' frustration needs to be with Jeffrey Simmons. And it's taboo to say that Jeffrey Simmons is not playing as well as he needs to. I'm willing to say it. If he hears me say it, I become arch enemy number one. But I don't think he's particularly good at least outwardly, at the self-reflection there. Out of all of the conversations we have with him where he talks about them needing to be better and all of that, I don't know that I've ever heard him say, I'm not playing well enough. Now, he talks about the screen pass. He says, I hit the quarterback, but they still made something happen on the screen pass. That's fair. But Jeffrey Simmons is not playing his best football over the last 6 weeks. And I don't know that he's really come out and said that. I think he has trouble coming to terms with that, first and foremost. And I think without Byard in that locker room, when your top guy, he's accountable, but he lacks, there's something missing.
He doesn't call things out the way Byard did. And I think Byard, that was an effective thing for this locker room to have Byard call things out and just call it like they are.
And when your top guy lacks that quality, I think that hurts a little bit.
There's been a little bit of, I guess excuse making with him,
yep.
Right? A little bit of, not being willing to be completely self-analytical.
And after the Pittsburgh game, which is on a Thursday night, Vrabel again said, we're not winning on one-on-ones up there. We got to win our one-on-ones to get going. And we took that to Simmons, and he kind of paused and said, I'm not, basically paraphrasing, he said, I'm not going to speak to that until I see the film. Now, it's not our fault the schedule breaks the way it does, so it feels like a long time until Wednesday, right?
Right.
But it's the weekend's game, so it might as well have been on Sunday. First time we talked to Jeff is Wednesday, and I say, hey, you said you wanted to see the film and stuff off of Pittsburgh before you addressed what Mike said. What do you think? And he said, yeah, I'm on to Tampa Bay, very Belichickian. Well, so you haven't answered what your head coach said about the defensive line and the pass rush performance.
Well, look, I mean, I don't think Vrabel, as we know, doesn't like talking specific, really positive or negative if he can help it, right? I mean, sometimes you ask him about a specific guy and he'll give you a thorough answer, but a lot of times like everybody this, everybody. I mean, he's brought up the investment in the defensive line and the lack of winning up front. I mean, that absolutely includes 98.
Absolutely.
There's no question.
But when you take it to 98 is kind of like seems a little bit like taken aback by it.
I do feel like I think back to the Atlanta game. I thought he was incredible in that game.
Yeah, great game.
He was
They all
destroying
played well
people.
in that game.
There is some like home road thing, which shouldn't happen, but there is like a home road thing in terms of talk about the energy effort, that little extra that they seem to not have.
It's lacking a little.
And they used to take it with them. They used to revel in going to L.A. and beating the crap out of Matt Stafford. That was 2 years ago.
They used to say, run defense travels and running travels, and they don't have either of those things really going for them anymore. And look, bad football teams don't play great on the road, and they're bad football teams.
More with Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com coming up next. Take your thoughts on the Titans. Our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5-106.3 The Game.
Vanderbilt basketball lives here.
Hey, it's Kevin Ingram. It's Vanderbilt and Central Arkansas this Friday night. Join Tim Thompson and me starting at 5:30.
Your home for the Commodores is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
When the festive bells ring and everyone gathers round, make sure your home's ready for it. From flickering lights to chilly nights to busted pipes, Lee Company is here to help. Heating, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, or any fix-up you need, we've got the experts ready. Head over to leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com. Remember, Lee Company, all you need, so you can enjoy the holidays worry-free.
Calling all sweet tooths. Head to Nashville Toffee Company, a place where rich, chocolatey daydreams are created from a secret family recipe generations in the making. Their toffees and candies are handcrafted in Nashville using all-natural, kosher-certified ingredients. Sweet creamery butter, pure cane sugar, premium roasted nuts, deep rich chocolate, and sea salt. Visit NashvilleToffeeCompany.com or drop by their headquarters on Air Lane Drive for a positively hassle-free shopping experience. Whether you're buying for 1 or 100, Nashville Toffee Company is here to make your holiday gift-giving easy.
Get ready for a magical holiday experience at Belle Meade Historic Site and Winery. Join us for our free holiday open house Thursday, November 16th from 5 till 8 p.m. Meet Santa and Mrs. Claus, tour our enchanting mansion, and delight in holiday crafts and activities for the whole family. Treat yourself with our renowned wines and bourbon from Belle Meade Winery and savor foods from the Belle Meade Meat and 3. Let's create cherished memories that will last a lifetime at Belle Meade Historic Site and Winery. Only 7 miles from downtown Nashville. Reserve online at visitbelmeade.com.
Blue Raider fans, your home for all the MTSU football and men's basketball action is on 93.3 Classic Hits and 95.1 Classic Hits in the borough. Catch the action all season long with Chip Walters on the call. Go Blue Raiders!
Don't miss Provember at Lowe's. Save $80 on a DeWalt combo kit and save $20 on a 5-gallon pail of HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams All-Purpose Power Primer. Plus, MVP's members earn 3 times the bonus points on DeWalt and HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams products. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Bonus points calculated before tax and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid through 11/22, subject to change.
You already know Prize Picks is the most fun you'll have this football season. But now you can play during basketball season too. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on the projected stats, and place your entry. You could turn $10 into $250. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Visit prizepicks.com/playnow and use code PLAYNOW. That's code PLAYNOW at prizepicks.com/playnow. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Sometimes it's good to be loud.
This is the NFL.
Especially when you're Jared Stillman.
That's where we are.
He's not afraid to say what's on his mind each and every day.
That was embarrassing. I don't care if you're a rookie. That was embarrassing.
Stillman and Company. Weekdays at 2 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is David Price. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Nick Keyser, Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com with us here on Robby and Rexrode. Make sure you join 102.5 The Game's Chasing Big Joe show today on the road at Black Tap Craft Burgers and Beer from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. You can stop by and enter for your chance to win tickets to an upcoming Preds home game, Black Tap gift cards, and much more. It's located downtown Nashville, 140 3rd Avenue North, just across from the Batman building. Chasing Big Joe hanging out there from 9 to 1 today. So looking forward to that. Talking all things Titans with Paul Kuharski from paulkuharski.com. PK, here's where I'm at on the Burks and Okonkwo front. So we talked about this a little bit yesterday. By no means do I think it's time to move on or give up on those two, but I think if you're Mike Vrabel, Rand Carthon, the Titans, and you are relying on them to be a significant part of your future at this point, I think that's a mistake. I think it's a big mistake, and hopefully Burks can get back on the field and string some games together and find ways to be productive to a level which we haven't seen to this point. But the idea that you can look at next year and be like, well, you got Hopkins under contract and you got Burks coming back and feel good about that being what it is right now at receiver, to me is not a smart strategy if you're the Titans.
They're gravy guys, right? It's gravy if you get something out of those guys next year, I think. Burks, I think you got to have next year Hopkins, a free agent, and a pretty high draft pick. I would think one of your top 2 draft picks is a receiver. Now, I'm crazy, though. I value wide receivers. The Titans don't. The Titans look up at the camera in their draft room and laugh at not drafting wide receivers, which is a great PR move. So I'm not sure where they come down in that. Nick Westbrook-Akine is going into his he'll be a 5th-year guy next year. Are they going to re-sign him? Please, God, no. I mean, you max out a guy like that, and it's time to get somebody better. Burks is just undependable. I mean, he's got 8 catches this year, I think.
Yeah,
and he's not been on the field. And Chig, who I think, you have to feel like he fooled us last year because his game feel looks virtually non-existent.
He can't catch the ball.
And he's dropping the ball like crazy. Now, I think they'll look at that to a degree and think it's fixable. But they need another high-quality tight end, and people are going to talk about Bowers. The problem is when Burks and Chig reach this level of being gravy for you next year, then you got an additional need at wide receiver and an additional need at tight end, and your need list is just a mile long.
Yeah, I separate those two. I do think with Chig, there's a little
maybe
bit
it's a sophomore slumpish kind of thing.
Well, I do think that there's I think there's still a way higher ceiling for Burks than for Chig. I think Chig's fine, and he's
out there.
Yeah, look where he went in the draft. I mean, sometimes that does kind of tell you reality, right? I think he can be a fine player. I agree they need to find something else there. Well, I think Wiley has a chance to be fine.
He's been okay.
Burks, I still believe, has a high ceiling. Now, I have no idea if he'll even get to the top of the basement stairs, okay? And right now, that's where he is. But can
you count on him going into next season? That's the kind of the question he's asking, and I think it's very difficult to do that.
Yeah, I think that
I think they might.
We talked about this the other day. I mean, I think the rest of this season is a huge. He has to be able to get on the field, and then he has to start.
Around in order to get him a touch.
Yeah,
that's a problem.
But there have been times, and I know it's easy to do the film study, look at the all-22, and say, wow, you should have done this or that. But, I mean, there are times when he's just not getting it. And
there are, but the injuries, that's the chief concern with him to me, are the injuries. But when he's been on the field, he's not getting open. I mean, the numbers, we talked about the chart where NFL Next Gen stats were charting Titans receivers and how well they get open. And Kyle Phillips is off the charts. He's at like 4 yards of separation, which is absurd. Burks was at like 1. Like the league average is 2.27, and Burks is like 1.43. Like he's not getting open when he's on the field.
Here's the other thing. Look, I understand them saying, and Levis is echoing this, like we throw it to the guy who's open. so to speak. And look, that makes perfect sense. And I think it makes perfect sense, especially when your offense is flowing and going. But when you can't get anything started, I don't understand why you can't design some plays and say, like, we're 90% throwing the ball to Hopkins out of this. We're 80% throwing the ball to Burks out of this. We saw a series where they threw to Burks, 2 or 3 times at one point. Like, all right, they're trying to get Burks going here. And I don't see what's wrong with that. Like, they used to have McNair throw to Wycheck all the time. Now, that was to get McNair going, not to get Wycheck going. But right. I don't see what's wrong with doing it the other way to try to get a receiver going.
That's what I think. Well, I think an end around is part of that, right? Get the ball in his hands, get him involved.
But you can run some stuff where Traylon Burks is going to naturally be like on a short crosser that's designed where he's undoubtedly going to be open.
You can have him lateral it across the
field.
That's
the thing, though. Like you've drafted him to get himself going. He shouldn't need to. You shouldn't need somebody else to get him going. I
understand. But when it's this bad,
I agree.
Then you have to hold his hand.
But the other thing about this, and I know some will roll their eyes, but I don't put – I mean, you wrote the story about him, getting back here. He looked completely devoted, in great shape, and performed every single day in the offseason. I can't just dismiss that as nothing.
No, how could it turn into this meaninglessness?
Right. Some of it is health.
Yeah.
Some of it, but not all of it.
But I don't know about you. When he was out the 3 games with the knee, I said – I don't expect him to come in and have a big game the first game. Yeah. I think it takes the guy 3 games to ramp up. And that's an issue because a guy who's your first-round draft pick, you expected to come in and replace, if not outright A.J. Brown, a big share of A.J. Brown, you should be able to drop him in a lineup and have him do that. It shouldn't be a 3-game ramp-up to doing that. There's just something missing there.
Well, and then is the knee – going to get healthy? Because here's the thing, like, everybody's focused on the concussion in the Pittsburgh game. He was limping around before that. He got hit the first time he got the ball in the Pittsburgh game, and he was limping again.
Was that the end around?
I know. I think he got thrown a pass before that, and I don't even know if he caught it, but he was limping around after the play. And it's like, well, is the knee back again as a problem? Beyond just the concussion.
I don't know that it's completely gone away. So and then it
looked
like a real serious injury at the time.
They say that's not the knee from the preseason injury, which, I don't know, it's the same knee. So he did something else to the knee.
I feel like you start doing stuff to a knee, and then even if it's something else, there's probably some relation, right?
It's all connected in some way, shape, or form, and that's worth parsing to me.
I got a question for you from David from Nashville on the text line. He said, I'd like to know if PK thinks that Levis can succeed under Mike Belichick. Watching Mac Jones fall has been sad under Daddy Bill. Do you think that isn't an fair or accurate comparison? Please don't yell at me if you answer this, like Bill O'Brien screamed at Jones in Frankfurt.
Give me the meat of it again.
So basically, it's the Levis. He calls Vrabel Mike Belichick, but he's making the comparison of Mac Jones and what's happened with him in New England.
Mac Jones stinks.
And blaming Belichick, or like do you look at any sort of comparison with Levis and Vrabel?
Well, I think Will Levis, there's more to work with than there is for Mac Jones. I think increasingly people are calling Vrabel Belichick. Vrabel is not a Belichick disciple. He never sold himself as that. He's not a guy that came from working under Belichick and like cut the sleeves off his hoodie and wore the hood up and did that. He's not Patricia. He's not Charlie Weiss. He's not Eric Mangini. He's none of those guys. His coaching mentors.
It's a long list of successful coming out of Belichick.
Yeah, no one really. McDaniels. He's not.
O'Brien counts.
Right,
as a success.
and so he might be a little bit of an O'Brien disciple. He's a little bit of a Tomlin disciple or Coward disciple. He's a little bit of a Meyer disciple, though I know he's got some things with Meyer that he really didn't like, but he took some things from there. His high school coach, his dad. He's an amalgamation of a lot of guys, and he's his own guy. He is not a Belichick drone the way people want to paint him. And people are saying Patriot way, Patriot way. The Titans have never been Patriot way. The guy who was a little bit more Patriot way was Robinson, a little bit, in being like an autocrat, like I'm the guy, we're going to do it my way. Didn't take a lot of input, I don't feel like, from Scouts never said, like, it never got out, oh, this 6th-round pick was heavily influenced by our Southwestern scout who really loved this kid or anything like that. So I just think that's a misnomer. And I think to compare, like, how is he doing anything to hold Levis back? The pass rush is killing Levis right now. This game, I don't think you can do any judgment of Levis. He was under fire the entire time.
Amalgamation.
That's a good one.
Wow.
It's at Ivy League right there.
Uh-huh. Columbia Lions, baby.
Roar Lions, roar.
Yeah, no, listen.
We beat some school really badly at basketball the other day.
Oh, really?
That's really
good.
bad.
That's exciting. Yeah.
It was really exciting. You should have watched.
Was it another
I mean,
Ivy League school?
Probably did.
No.
Okay.
I know the Ivy League schools.
Yeah. I only like 7 or 8 minutes of that on ESPN Plus.
That's good.
I didn't see the end though.
More with Paul Koharski from paulkoharski.com coming up next. We'll get to the Tim Kelly side of things coming up on the other side. Got more of your thoughts to get to as well. 615-737-1025. Tune in to 1025, 1063 The Game this Saturday at 6:30 for our college football game of the week. Florida taking on Missouri, presented by Twin Peaks. Take your tailgate to Twin Peaks for scenic views of all the hottest college football games across the country and home of the 29-degree beer. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 1025, 1063 The Game.
Every Wednesday at 8:30. Join Robby and Rexrode for The Choice is Yours.
2 sports questions, 2 non-sports questions.
They'll answer a couple of questions about life and sports. The Choice is Yours is built by Jarrett Companies. You have a choice. So when you have a need for site and utility work, fire protection, concrete and asphalt services, the choice is simple. It's Jarrett Companies. For more, visit JarrettCompaniesInc.com. The Choice is Yours. Wednesdays at 8:30 on 1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Get a great deal on select Kubota equipment, the #1 rated tractor brand for durability and owner experience in the U.S. The versatile lineup is built to help you make the most of your land. Right now at participating dealers, get a Kubota compact tractor for 0 down, 0% APR for 84 months, plus up to $800 on qualifying implements. Now through December 31st, see Krebs Kubota or go to KubotaUSA.com/disclaimers for full disclaimer. Krebs Kubota, Middle Tennessee's preferred equipment dealer. Convenient locations in Columbia, Franklin, and Murfreesboro. Visit us online at KrebsKubota.com.
Are you ready to get pumped up and show your support for the MTSU Blue Raiders this season? Get ready to experience the thrill of cheering them on inside the legendary Floyd Stadium. And the best part? Season tickets are available at an unbeatable starting price of just $99. Don't wait any longer. Head to GoBlueRaiders.com/tickets to secure your spot and join us in cheering the Blue Raiders to victory. Let's go Blue!
Attention all fire protection, commercial plumbing, and HVAC experts. Jarrett Companies are looking for experienced field technicians like you. Tired of working for your large corporate employer? Work for a company where you're more than just a number. Jarrett's Fire Protection, Commercial Plumbing, and HVAC divisions are owned and operated by Nashville natives who want you to grow with their amazing team.
Hi, I'm Jason Jarrett, owner of Jarrett Companies. I'm looking to hire experienced experts and will offer a sign-on bonus of up to $5,000 for certified professionals. In addition to our great benefits that include a 401k match, PTO, and top pay with annual bonuses, we'll also provide you with top-of-the-line tools, trucks, and equipment that you need to grow your career. Our customer base is large and our business is booming with many opportunities for advancement. Give us a call or go online to JarrettCompaniesInc.com and apply today to become a member of our family and protect our community. That's JARRETT CompaniesInc.com. Jarrett Companies, where we are above and beyond industry standards.
Today, football is a game of sound. What if you couldn't hear your coach's play calls? What if you couldn't hear the referee's whistle? For deaf and hard of hearing athletes like me, these what-ifs are a reality. But with the AT&T 5G helmet, now we can see play calls just like the other teams hear them.
Connect the player, change the game. Learn more at att.com/5G helmet. Connecting changes everything. AT&T. AT&T is a proud supporter of the Gallaudet Bison AT&T 5G helmet, not for sale.
Hi, what brings you to the clinic today?
Oh, the baby's not feeling well. I think she might have a fever.
Well, let's check her temp with the Exergen thermometer. You're right. These Exergen thermometers are very accurate. Reads 101.2.
Oh, gosh. Well, that Exergen thermometer sure is fast and easy to use.
Yes, and many doctors recommend Exergen for home use.
Exergen thermometers, backed by over 100 clinical studies, are available at Walgreens and participating retailers. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Not near a radio? Download the Game Nashville app,
and you can listen to Robby and Rexrode wherever you go. Now that is cool.
This is Robby and Rexrode on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Join Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders, and Derek Mason at Twin Peaks and Cool Springs this Sunday from 9:30 to 11:30 for our NFL pregame show. They'll break down the Titans matchup against the Jaguars, give you the latest updates before the game. NFL pregame show presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment and Beast Unleashed. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode. Paul Kuharski with us from paulkuharski.com. PK, how do you evaluate the job that Tim Kelly has done to this point, given that the offensive line is such a problem with them right now? Also given, though, that they are terrible in the red zone. Just atrocious. So overall, what have you made of the job that Tim Kelly has done to this point?
Yeah, it's not good enough, obviously. The whole league's having trouble in the red zone. I do think it's important to note, like, the context. Offense is down around the league. So he's fitting in with that. I really like Pittsburgh, the 3rd and 10 before the half, maybe I'm too heavy on. The run, throw deep. He gave a good description of why they threw deep on that play, but Joe asked the big question, like, it's a low percentage play. So maybe you don't call that play there. You call something that's higher percentage because the first down is the key, not getting big yards.
For people who didn't listen to it, I mean, it was also, the discussion was kind of like about Levis's decision making. So Tim, his point there was that he made the right decision, the way that they have their alerts called and everything like that, which is fine. But
but don't call that play.
Right.
Where if he reads the alert right, he makes that throw, but it's a low percentage play to throw 35 yards down the field or however many yards it was, when there are possibilities underneath and all you need is 5 yards. But he did a good job explaining all of that to us. I think, now they have to come up with stuff that gets the ball out quick and to more people. Like, I don't know. Am I wrong? Like, where are the slants that are quick outs to people other than Tajay Sharp, who's not running slants, but he gets the ball quick? Seems like every quick release pass or a high percentage of the quick release stuff is to Spears.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Spears is our quick release guy. Even Phillips, who's come to life now,
is made for that.
Yeah, he's not getting the quick release stuff. He's not catching the balls that I think he's so good at, where he can run a quick stop route and the guy can't stop fast enough to get back to him, and he can catch a 4-yard ball on 3rd and 3 or 5-yard ball on 3rd and 4. And I'm not seeing those things. So I'm a little puzzled by the usage there. And I'm not seeing crossing stuff to the degree that I expected that. This all being said, I'm no expert on that stuff, and I don't want to pretend to be. I just think there's stuff that's not factoring in that seems like it could help more. And I don't know, it seems like they've settled into what the run game usage is, but like, I would have bailed totally on Derrick Henry in this game. He was doing nothing. It's a 2.2 yard average. You don't have to get him to a 17
20 times they win,
carriage.
Paul. 20 times they win.
Yeah. Throw that out there.
They don't win because he carries 20 times. He carries 20 times because they're winning.
Right.
I'm just telling you what the facts are. I'm reading box scores.
No. Well, I'm telling you why it's the case.
It's so difficult for me to have kind of a snap judgment one way or the other on the job that Tim Kelly has done because the line is so bad. Now, having said that, like, for whatever reason, they've been able, even with the bad line, they're putting up 27, 28 points a game at home, and on the road they cannot score touchdowns. And that is, in the National Football League, I understand that if it's college football and you're, Akron going into Neyland Stadium. I can't figure out why that's continually been the case in the NFL.
Well, I think we need to also contextualize the home games. They cut Cincinnati at a very bad time for Joe Burrow, still dealing with the calf injury.
But I agree, that defensive performance was a mirage, but the offensive performance against a pretty good D was pretty good.
Right. Chargers
I was
are
impressed.
play confused defense consistently, right? I mean, Staley just doesn't get it done, and their whole thing is that they put up a lot of points to contend with a lot of points. Atlanta just doesn't get it done, and they have a good offensive line, generally speaking, and they had a horrible day. So you give the Titans points for, that was a good defensive performance by the Titans. That was the pass rush that we expected to see on a regular basis that flashed. And that's a reason to be really disappointed in the Titans' pass rush is that we saw that they had it in them.
But Tampa's not any good. And they made Tampa
Tampa's
look like
not any good.
an elite
Pittsburgh's
team.
not any good. All these middling teams that you thought the Titans would be like, they're generally losing to.
I saw a Titans fan. It was like after the Texans, what was the final score? 39-37 or whatever, Texans over the Bucs?
Yeah.
Somebody's like, what is Levis going to do to that defense? I'm like, dude, let's understand like what C.J. Stroud has and what Will Levis has. And I know it may seem funny to some people to say, wow, the Houston Texans, what an awfully impressive bunch. But they have a legitimate offensive line. They can block. They have good receivers. And this team does not.
But, I mean, that's incredibly discouraging that D'Amico Ryans comes in, and in their first year, they piece together a thing that is this much better than what the Titans have with some consistency, with some, a consistent regime at head coach and some time.
They have been picking high often lately, but yes. But you're right. I mean, it's discouraging that the Texans are flat out a better team than the Titans right now.
PK, very quickly, your thoughts on the matchup with Jacksonville coming up on Sunday, who just got smoked by San Francisco, which I don't think is very good news.
No, I don't think that's very good news at all. I mean, anything happens in divisional games, and so I think that's the Titans' hope. I think they're going to win some of these 5 divisional games that they have left in a way that it might mess things up for somebody, but not in a way that gets them back into anything. And it's home. So, I mean, it's not home. So that bodes poorly. I think home against Jacksonville will be better for them. I'm looking for a Thanksgiving Day reservation way too late. So if anybody knows a restaurant that actually hasn't filled up yet, reach out. I'd appreciate it.
Hey, you got 8 days to figure this out.
Well, there's a Friendsgiving on Saturday that we thought was going to be on Thursday. That's the reason for the
mix-up.
For the botch.
You got a lot of givings. That's good.
Don't block the box and be sure to lock the locks. Did I say that at the right time?
You did.
The
You
music
nailed
had
it this
started
time.
playing.
You nailed it.
I didn't say it at the beginning of the segment like I did last week.
That's going to do it for
I'm
us
impressed.
today on Robby and Rexrode. We'll be back 6 a.m. tomorrow. Jason Big Joe up next. This is 102.5, 106.3 The Game.